whatever tastes best first while I still can taste.
Hey everyone, welcome to Bangin Beers episode 5. We're here with two special guests this time. We got Cheesefoot and we got Matt, two local comedians in the area. Cheesefoot used to do a little bit more, but just talking about game stream. Some stuff happened. He's unable to do that at the moment, but it's not out of the question. It'll be coming back very soon, hopefully.
Absolutely.
What happened?
There was a baby. Babies fuck up everything.
A baby happened. Yeah.
It happened.
I mean, it's not my baby, but it's somebody's baby.
Right. Somebody added the spaghetti to the meat.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
The spaghetti went to the meat and cheese, and it put a divide in. Now
we have a goblin.
Now there's a goblin running around. But yeah, they do a lot of local comedy. They used to perform at Coney. They each equally performed at different venues all over the place. You're talking about Steel Stacks and Reading, right?
Oh yeah, Reading, Lancaster.
Mm-hmm. Local bar, very good friends of ours. McNiff's in Monte City. You put a post out and kind of like, hey, is anyone willing to do it? And I kind of just tagged Trish and I tagged McNiff's, and she's like, absolutely. And then you guys work something out, so I'm really happy. So if you're interested in local comedy, it's coming to our area again. It's going to be back in Wednesday nights at McNiff's in Monte City.
First one is Wednesday, March 20th, 8 o'clock. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I in my journeys after Coney, I met a lot of new faces, and a lot of them are interested in coming up, and there's some serious killers that are interested. So.
Yeah, they just did a comedy show at somewhere I'm very passionate about. I love those guys a lot. At Culture to Culture, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous.
Yeah, when I saw the pastor in the back of the room, if anyone's ever seen my comedy before.
So they have comedy's comedy. They have a very open, raw style of comedy, and Culture to Culture is a good crowd, but it's also a lot of people are struggling with addiction but laughter is always good, but you always have people who are they can get offended very easily in our day and age. So some of the jokes that went out, I kind of watched the room for you guys like, oh god, but it went over great. Everyone had a blast. You guys had a really good set, and it was fun. The topic that night was legalizing marijuana. So then they like to do like they like to put a panel up there of people that actually know what the fuck they're talking about, and they put a bunch of comics up there, and then had the crowd ask them questions about legalizing drugs, and it turned quickly into a shit show.
But it was hilarious.
It was hilarious,
dude. Everybody. First of all, that place is awesome. Ed that runs that place is a really great guy.
Very good guy.
He's awesome. But we got, I would say, out of all the positive feedback I got, not only from the comedy, but a lot of it was from the Q&A afterwards. I think there was only one person offended, and that was the recovering heroin addict that had her support dog there, and Joey told her to legalize heroin, but only for her dog or something like that.
Yeah. He didn't know she's still recovering, and it's a process she's going through, and
they made up though.
They made out.
No, made up.
So she yelled like, "What about heroin?" And he was just like, "Legalize it, but only for dogs." And she's like, "That's terrible." And then Joey.
Yeah,
his set was hilarious. I don't want to give anything away about his set because it's something you definitely have to see live. But he had a moment there where I seen his show before, so I seen the joke, and he did it. And
I think you're talking about Jonathan.
Jonathan, yeah. So Jonathan did his joke about his dad. So Jonathan has a story where his dad was an alcoholic. He passed away, and he's so good at he hits a switch where he can look like he's gonna cry. So he's in a room full of people that are very open. And so he looks like he completely breaks down as a person. He's no longer a comic, and he's upset. And he's talking about the atticus, and then he just drops a joke bang, and the room was just
sells it so good.
Yeah, and
it's
the room was just
hilarious.
What the fuck was that? It was crazy.
There was a show, the very first time I ever saw Jonathan do that joke, my dad was going through cancer, and he's telling this joke about his dad, and it started getting me emotional. I started to well up. Jonathan looks at me, he starts to well up, so we're both welling up, and then he just drops the punchline, and everybody, it just fell apart. It was
wow.
Yeah, it was insane.
He's so good. He is such a good natural comedian. And then Joey, the other one you were talking about, both of them are going to be a part of that McNiff's mic.
Yeah.
They're just Joey is one of the most natural, funny people I've ever seen. Like if you watch this kid like quote unquote bomb as all comedians do, he just makes it hilarious. It's like every comedian would hope to be that funny when they're not doing well.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
McNiff's, you guys are definitely in for a treat. They do come every week and they perform, and Matt says he has a lot up his sleeve, so you're gonna see some cool stuff.
Cool.
Before we get started here, do you guys have Untapped? Are you guys on the Untapped app?
I have no idea what that is.
So Untapped is kind of an app where you check in beers and you review them. I just always ask every guest, because if you had it, we'd plug your name because people could follow you. It's kind of like Facebook for it turns beer into
Facebook for beer.
Yeah, it's like Facebook for beer, and it's like, I don't have a problem. It's cute. It's an app. You know what I mean? Like
I'm so far behind on the amount of beers that I've drank. That's literally the only reason I don't have it.
Yeah.
Like probably 3,000-4,000 beers where I'm like, I don't remember if I've had it. I've definitely had it.
Yeah.
It's just the alcohol preventing me from remembering.
Yeah, so we have all interview glasses, and we need another one because it's our first show with 5 people. So in honor of McNiff's journey, if you're watching, she hooked me up with a nice Fatheads Brewery glass last time we were there, and she had some funny jokes with it, but we won't go into those. But yeah, I love that place a lot. The food's amazing. A really good bar, really good atmosphere. It's going to be a good time.
She's been awesome to work with so far already. She's just been so open to everything.
Mhm.
So there was I felt there was some mistakes we were making at Coney, and I feel like I nicked them right in the bud, like right away. So,
Yeah.
I promise you I won't yell at her.
yeah.
If you're watching, I promise I won't yell at you.
Yeah, if anyone was at that last Coney show, we're gonna keep Cheesefoot in a cage.
You yell at the
Cheesefoot will
owner?
have his own cage, and we will put him back in there.
I got a little bit of a temper sometimes. I'm working on it. I'm taking measures to prevent that, mostly drinking.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
Booze is a good combat. All right, so we're going to start off with our first beer here. So I just want to give you guys a warning as well. There's really no rush after the show is over to get out of here, because someone always falls apart in the show.
All right.
It's going to happen.
Inevitable.
It's good, and we might even at the end we might even add a beer or two, because Ben always brings extras. But
Can't wait to be in your lap later. This is gonna be,
so last episode, Nikolai excused himself and just went up and laid in the hallway for a while. They do get strong. Be very honest. Obviously, if you're not a fan of it, you're not a fan of it. It is what it is. But
Be honest.
yeah, so that's pretty much the big thing here. We're gonna have a good time and try some craft beers. Are you a fan of craft beers?
I was just at a brewery in Detroit for my last poker tour. I was telling you about this.
Mhm.
I had the best beer I've ever had in my entire life. It was whiskey aged beer. I don't know if anyone's ever had that, but they keep it in.
you probably had the Bell's Oberon if you were in Michigan. That I had. They had a whiskey barrel aged version of their Oberon.
I think it was called Imperial was the company. Yeah, they had a brewery right in the casino out in MGM Grand, and an 11.2 ABV.
Mhm.
And it was Imperial Pumpkin. It tastes so good, by the way. It wasn't over hoppy or anything like that. It's the best beer I've ever tasted. It had like a subtle vanilla whiskey taste to it.
Yeah.
And I drank the first one, I felt fine. And then the second one, like this devil creeped in, and I'm like, I should text my ex and call her a whore. Like, what's going on?
that always happens. You may be texting her again tonight.
Damn barrel aged beers.
Yingling has a barrel aged beer now that they're going to be releasing for in a couple weeks, or how?
14th and 15th. It's in the brewery only.
Yep.
So the taste test is limited supply each day, starting at. Of course, you're in School County, so you got to start early, 9 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
I'm going to be leaving work.
Is it whiskey
Driving.
barrels too?
Yeah, they're gonna. It's a
It's a
Yingling
barrel
beer.
aged. It's a barrel aged Yingling beer.
Yeah, they
Okay.
took
I don't
they
know
took a
which
lager
one.
and barrel aged it.
Nice.
So I'm definitely trying it.
Yeah.
I want to get down there and try it.
Yeah.
That's my preferred type of beer is the whiskey barrel aged, because it's not too hoppy. I'm not like a massive fan of IPAs. The whiskey.
You're gonna learn beers today. That's
Yeah,
the best part.
Oh boy.
So I'm a fan of the IPAs.
I wasn't a fan of the IPAs until I started doing this show. They created a monster.
There it is. So they were talking about these are the first time with the headphones. So like, man, these pick up everything. I can't wait to hear a beer crack open. I think it's like ASMR, like the Super Bowl commercial. But this is Funk Brewing.
Double disco.
Oh my god, I can hear it pour.
Yeah.
It was the best.
And just take a little bit at first, and then we'll go around and top glasses off if you enjoy it.
Now, before we try it out then too.
It's a great noise, right?
before I traded these beers with a buddy of mine, Eric Pug, guy from Whitehall, excellent trader. I traded with him for a couple years now, and he's been very reliable. So there's your plug, Eric.
Nice. Did you tell him about the show?
What's that?
Can you tell him about the show?
Yeah, I told him about the show, and basically I was like, this was like a long time coming. So he's like, oh, I have a whole bunch of beers for you. And I'm like, okay. It's like, whenever we can meet. So I met him up at Cabela's, basically on all this stuff that we're going to try out today. There is some stuff that I did not try. Well, actually, all these are something I haven't had before.
Really?
If
So
you need a middleman, I'm in Allentown, Whitehall, like 4 or 5 days a week.
yeah,
wow.
if you ever come across a beer and you're like, I want these guys to try it, you're more than welcome to drop a beer off for us, and we'll definitely do it on the show.
My good buddy Mike Elias lives out in Detroit. I'm gonna have to see if he can get his hands on some of those beers.
Yeah.
So like I have had some stuff from Funk. Now their main headquarters is basically in Emmaus.
Pennsylvania beer.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, PA. They're pretty much all PA beers.
We
at
keep
this point.
Funk on tap year round at my job because it's literally 5 miles from.
Yeah, it's in it's actually in an old firehouse then too, which is really cool. So like if you go out there for the summertime, basically they just raise that firehouse
Fun
door.
breweries in a firehouse?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and it's a really nice location where it's at. You can't miss it. It's I think it's at a CVS, like near CVS.
There's
or
like
the
a
same
pizza
street.
shop on the corner, then the firehouse, the CVS across the street.
Yeah, so you can't miss it. And they also have a second location in Elizabethville or Town. I'm thinking Elizabethtown. So
With the college.
yeah,
E-Town.
So some of the things I'm reading here on Untapped: juicy, citrusy, resiny, fruity, and spicy.
It tastes like grapefruit.
Yeah.
It tastes exactly like grapefruit.
Yeah.
This tastes like every single Funk beer I've ever had.
Yeah.
They're just consistent in putting out this style of beer. It's awesome that
I'm a fan of it. I'm
always so smooth.
So to me, the heavy IPA, the heavy citrus, I always get the grapefruit, and I'm a big grapefruit fan. So that's where I like. He can tell you, when I was a kid, I would literally just sit there and eat grapefruits like oranges. It's just my favorite. But I'm a fan of that. I actually gave that. I'm giving that a 4 on my scale here. But so you've been to the brewery here for Funk, right? Since we are doing 2 of their beers, we'll talk a little bit. Do they have food there?
They do offer food. They have 6 taps, rotating taps. They always have the Silent Disco and the Funk Citrus. Those are the only 2 that don't rotate out. And then the last time I was there, they had their lager, which was the only thing I've ever had from them that I didn't quite enjoy.
Really?
But they had their double citrus IPA. They had let's say it was like a barley wine. But everything that they had was awesome, except we passed on that lager.
Yeah, I always try to, when I go to a brewery, I know I'm going to like the IPAs. Unless they do something crazy, like they brew it with a sock,
which I would try.
A dirty sock.
Let's be real. They're like, this is our
God,
dirty
you don't
sock
want
IPA.
oh God, you don't want that, Tony.
Yeah,
God.
I tend to go to the lager first, especially if they do like flights, because I'm interested to see how. Because a lot of people hate when I say this, but I always Yuengling's our hometown brewery. So to me, when I think of lager, I think of Yuengling. So when a craft beer says I'm going to make a lager, that's your comparison to me. Because I enjoy Yuengling lager. A lot of people don't, but I do. So when you say I'm making a lager, that's because it's that's my favorite lager.
You judge everything by Yuengling lager.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like with Yuengling, like that sometimes you don't get the best batch though? Because I've had bottles from there and I'm like, this isn't Yuengling that I
depends
remember.
on where you're at and where it comes from, because I can definitely pick out a Pottsville bottling versus a Florida bottling.
Right, that's what I'm
There's
saying. Like, there's something
100%
different sometimes.
I think the Golden Pilsner changed since it first came out.
I do too.
I agree.
And
I'm not really
not
into
for the
it
better.
anymore.
Yeah.
Not for the better. When it first came out, that was my second favorite beer Yuengling makes.
Oh, wow.
Now I had it a couple of months after it's been out, and I was like, this is not the same beer.
Yeah, you know what was like that too was the black and tan that they had. It was so good at first for me. And
I love the black and tan.
Yeah. My favorite is Chesterfield. I'm a Chesterfield ale guy.
This is the weirdest thing to me, but the Golden Pilsner is the only beer I've ever preferred out of a can.
Really?
Just for some reason, out of a can, it's delicious. Versus the bottle, I'm like, it's good.
Now,
The
Golden Pilsner is something that when it first came out, I was like, that comparison was Guinness Blonde. I was a big fan of Guinness Blonde, but I think Guinness Blonde has changed since they moved from Latrobe to Baltimore. I still think the recipe's good, but I just think it's harder to find. Like it just seems like in our area, as soon as Golden Pilsner came out, like Guinness Blonde disappeared. Like it was just like, don't come in our parts anymore.
Guinness is so underrated and appreciated, though.
I think it's shelf space availability.
Yeah,
and they're going to go with the local.
100%. Yeah,
and for no other reason, their profit margin is larger with the Yuengling because it costs less.
Yes.
I think being so close to the brewery, our craft beer market is a little bit hurt by that. There's not a very large craft beer market, which causes a lot of what you do have at like the Weiss and what's the spot in Minersville. But those places, their stock sits so long.
Yeah.
So they have to get something that they know is going to move. Beer Shack.
Yeah. The big names definitely have a monopoly over the area.
But there's just such an underappreciation for craft beer where we are.
I think the people who enjoy it are definitely helping it get more exposure because some bars you go to, they're like, we don't have any craft beer. Like that's my first question when I walk in. So I'm like, what craft beer do you have? And they say we don't. And I say, all right, well, what Yuengling do you have? And if they have Chesterfield or Golden, I'm going to go with that because that's the closest I'm going to get. Or if they say like we have Trogs, usually you can get away with Trogs in this area. But it is getting better. We kind of talked about in our last episode. Each town has their own little spots where you can get craft beer. We'll kind of do that again for this when we close. But we talked a little bit Monty City and Ashland and stuff. But every town has that one bar where you're like, if you're looking for a good craft beer spot, that's your go-to spot if you're trying to try different beers out.
Yep. People used to ask that same question when they would walk into. I worked at Applebee's for 9 years.
Yeah,
people would come in. They'd be like, "Oh, what craft beers do you have?" I'd be like, "All right, well, we got this and this. I know all of them off the top of my head. I can tell you where they're from, what they taste like." And you go, "That's awesome. I'll have a Miller Lite every goddamn time."
I'm that person. Have you been to Brewworks for their mic yet?
Yeah.
Brewworks has a comedy night. I don't know if you've ever been to Brewworks before, but it's all their own stuff.
Yeah.
And the bartender, I walked up to the bartender and I was like, "Do you guys have Land Shark here?" And he's like, "No, it's all our own stuff." And that didn't register for some reason. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll just take a Corona." And he's like, "No, it's all our own stuff."
So this is
all right. First beer, Double Disco.
Yeah. Sorry,
I was not a big fan of it. I gave it a 2.
Really? A 2?
Yeah. It was too citrusy for me.
See, I don't actually like the real grapefruit, but if grapefruit can get me wasted, I was kind of a fan. So
I wasn't a fan of it. Sorry.
It's fair.
I'll be the Simon Cowell for that one.
All right.
I was not a fan of it.
What can you do, man?
So it has an interesting smell and color to it. This is Stunt Double.
I think my favorite part about the Funk IPAs that I found is that they're always very low IBU. Like I'm not really a big like super bitter, super hoppy type, and the Funk is always like just smooth enough to get
the right amount.
So this here is still very smooth, but this is more of your bitter. This has more of a bitter to it.
What one is this?
This is Stunt Double.
Stunt Double, yeah. This is an Imperial India Pale Ale. And they usually go with a theme, like a Nintendo theme. Excite Bike.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, that's dope.
Excite Bike is definitely the can on that one. This is, I think if I had to go head-to-head Funk versus Funk here, I'm going Double Disco if I'm picking a beer to drink all night long.
Same.
Yeah. I would want the...
Are all their beers like this?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yes, actually. Funny enough, yes.
It's still good beer. I do enjoy this.
They're very much into that unfiltered, hazy style where it's almost thick, very dry.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them, they have their double citrus. It feels like, you're going to think I'm crazy for this. You take a sip and it feels like there's nothing in your mouth. It's so dry that it just feels like it's gone.
Yeah.
But that's just what they do is very dry, very hazy, very smooth IPAs.
I actually got what you were saying there. I never understood that before.
This isn't as fruity, citrusy as the other.
Yeah, this is more like a dry bitter.
Yeah.
So Cheesefoot, now, would you consider that kind of like a brewed IPA because that's kind of like dry, or like a bread IPA because brewed is usually like a drier, IPA when it comes to it, like this, like style wise. But I mean, what would you think?
You got me on that one a little bit, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, no big deal. It's just it just has like a little bit of a drier taste at the end of it. Like at the finish, it just like kind of stops. It's kind of like if you had dry wine.
Yeah.
But this would beer pretty much.
This one. Yeah.
We should review wine with Cheesefoot. Find out what wine goes
Oh,
best
dude,
with
I
Cheesefoot.
just sit there and I go, well, this is red. That's it. That's my only knowledge of wines.
Wine with cheese.
I can talk to you about beers all day. You let me
Wine
taste
with
the
cheese,
wine.
I
I'll
like
tell you
Yeah,
it's
it's
red.
the easiest one.
Kind of because we're kind of ripping through these a little bit.
Don't worry.
So since we have two comedy guys on here, let's talk comedy. So it's something I've always been passionate about. I enjoy a lot, and people are like, "Oh, you're a funny guy. You should be a comic." I have respect for the game. I'm not just that asshole thing that can sit in front of a microphone and fucking come up with a 13-minute set, because there's an art to it. You know what I mean? I'm funny on my own, but if you put me on the stage and people are staring at me like, dance monkey, like, you know what I mean? Like it's a different experience.
There's a difference between being funny reactively and being funny
Comedic.
Yeah,
comedically.
like I could tell a story and I'll embellish the shit out of it and make it funny, but I don't think I'd be a comedian. I wouldn't be a good comic.
No.
It's for sure the most disrespected art form, because a lot of people, I think anyone that has ever made anyone laugh comes up to you
You should be a comic.
thinks, yeah, they should do it. It for sure. Like, you wouldn't go up to a musician that just got off riffing a guitar riff for 5 minutes. You wouldn't go up to him like, yeah, I could do that. My friends tell me I could do that all the time. Like, it's just that's not really how comedy is. But yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand the work that goes into it. Even when people come the first time micers, by the way, first time micers, feel free. If you feel like you're funny, come out to my mic. We're all receptive. We've all been at our first one. We had to be at our first one.
And you have to start off, anything you do, you start off and you have to be kind of terrible at it. Like, you're going to build, you have to, that whole idea
You have to be shitty to get better.
Yeah. The whole idea is that you go on a television show nowadays and you get a contract because you're like, those people didn't walk on a stage first time ever doing it and were awesome.
Right. Yeah, the best comedians can make you feel, and this is how I feel with like Jonathan, Joey, like the really good comedians in our group. They can get up on stage and make you feel like they've never done this material before. Mm-hmm. If me, Cheese, we're traveling with these guys, we see them do it, but they can take you out of that. So I think that's where the misconception comes from, that everyone thinks they can do comedy. It is a rehearsed thing. Me, Cheesefoot, we were there every week working on our stuff.
Yep.
That's literally what you have to do. You have to work on it. You have to write it. It has to consume your life, because you have to be thinking about it, where you can go with different things. So it's a very artistic art form, and it's completely not looked at like that.
Yeah.
And even with like new material then too, you're always thinking of something new, something different, kind of like branching out a little bit then too as well.
Exactly. That's what an open mic is for, actually.
And if your joke is even close to somebody else's, you're like, oh, you're a fucking thief.
Dude, I can't watch. Like, people are like, do you see this stand up on Netflix? I'd be like, no. Like, I'm so scared that subconsciously I'm going to hear something and just totally steal it from somebody, and I don't want to ever be that guy.
Yeah, and it's not even like it's not even so much stealing. I mean, unless you're super blatant, but I mean, you're gonna be influenced by things. Even as a musician or anything, you're gonna do, like this podcast. If people listen to, like, man, I really like you. You remind me a lot of Joe Rogan. Spoiler: I watch a lot of Joe Rogan.
Well, there's a massive difference. There's a massive difference between parallel thinking and actual stealing. Like Carlos Mencia was stealing.
Yes,
he was stealing from comedians. Whoever was writing for Amy Schumer was stealing. Those are stealing. But parallel thinking is completely different.
Yeah.
Joey does a bit right now, not to keep going back to Joey and Jonathan, but Joey does a bit right now that I had in my phone a very similar bit about like getting sick. And he does that bit, and he made it funnier than I could make it. So I just I'm going to scrap that one. But everyone has bits that are parallel to each other, but there is a different, I can tell when Cheesefoot cracks a bit. I'm like, yeah, that's a Cheesefoot bit. I love that. Like he does this joke about pooping basketballs, not to give away that. And I'm like, yeah, that's a Cheesefoot bit.
Yeah. Like, everyone at the table here, who was the first person that your first comedy special that maybe you heard or listened to? Because I know for a while there, they weren't on TV, they were comedy albums. So I know my first comedy album, it wasn't so much a stand-up album or anything, it was just a comedy album. I was in Adam Sandler, They're All Gonna Laugh at You. That was my introduction to comedy for for like that and I remember always watching Saturday Night Live as a kid.
Yeah,
that was my introduction to like seeing comics, and then learning from there that these guys actually do a form called stand up.
Yeah.
What was some of your first?
My first was like Mad TV and Saturday Night Live, and then spelled into the comedy specials from there. But that was more my introduction to it. Was through stuff like that.
That'd be like similar to me too. Like used to watch like Mad TV, and then Comedy Central ran
every Friday
syndication on Saturday Night Live over the summertime. So like all like that mid '90s stuff, like Sandler, Farley, Chris Rock, and all that whole cast.
Yeah,
I would watch that and just be like, I would just absorb it like a sponge.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like Mad TV is very underappreciated.
Yeah,
100%.
Like that was I would rather watch Mad TV than most Saturday Night Live.
I agree.
I think if I'm going to look, it was Saturday Night Live first. I didn't get into Mad TV because by the time that Mad TV, I was old enough to like, oh, Mad TV's a thing. I was into all that because that was like my age group thing. So all that was like the kid version of Saturday Night Live. But my first comedy special, I still can remember. Just kind of hit me. I watched it because he was watching it. Was Eddie Murphy Raw?
Yeah, with his red jacket.
Yes.
On? Yeah, that's a famous.
Yes. And my dad has a very unique laugh. So if he were to like let a laugh out, it's sometimes embarrassing, but it's funny. Like you hear his laugh and you laugh. As a kid, he'd be like, "Let's go rent a movie," and I would rent the same movie every time because I knew it was a movie that was going to make him like get to that point of laughing. It's Home Alone. He could watch Home Alone back to back to back. When Pesci gets his head lit on fire or falls on the steps, he loses it.
Sounds like a tool chest falling down a flight of stairs.
And then just another funny story about him laughing. We went to see the Jackass the movie the day it released in the Hazleton Theater, and we were top row, very last seat, and the first fucking thing happened, and the whole place was just like, what the fuck? Like,
Not to make this.
About 125 people in a movie theater, and it was like synchronized, and they all went like, "What the fuck was that?"
And they laughed harder because he laughed harder at the movie.
Oh my god, that's always the best when you have a whole audience because like you just work off their.
They got to the snow cone bit.
Yeah.
And like everybody was waiting for me to laugh. I can't. That's not funny.
Yeah,
that's not funny.
Dave, I will not be at Strikers because probably by the time I finish this gauntlet, I probably won't shoot the drive. But to give them my love at Strikers, I'm definitely bummed when I'm not there. But have a good show.
I couldn't think of the first special I saw when I answered that, but I just remembered it's the Mitch Hedberg set on Comedy Central.
Yeah,
that was the very first one I ever saw. He actually, and anyone that wants to try comedy or does comedy, watch that special because for the first 20, it's a 20-minute set, and for the first 10 minutes, nobody gets it.
Nobody understands what's happening.
Nobody's laughing at all, and then he starts to like slowly win them over with it, just like hilarious one-liners. He's the best to ever do it.
Yeah, it's definitely watching him. He did 2 specials on Saturday Night Live, and both of them kind of went very similar. But his first
was Comedy Central.
Comedy Central. Every Friday night they used to run the specials, and his very first special, the one he's talking about, same thing. He literally went out there, and funny thing about Mitch Hedberg is everyone's like, why do you wear glasses? He wore glasses because he had terrible stage fright.
Yeah, he had his eyes closed.
He would close his eyes.
Yeah,
he would literally stand on stage, close his eyes, and tell his jokes. And for the first 10 minutes, he's kind of like the next version of Andy Kaufman. Like people didn't understand Andy Kaufman, but then later on they're like, that guy was a genius. Yeah. Like that was Mitch Hedberg is like the Andy Kaufman of his generation. Like people watch him for the first 10 minutes and they're like, what the hell is this guy doing? And then by the end of the set, everyone's like in tears, crying because he never thought he was funny.
Well, no, he was actually a very popular comedian. He was touring. He was very popular actually. But the thing with his Comedy Central special was they filled it with a stock audience, so they didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
So traditional comedians opened for him during the filming, but then it was him, and nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Because it was a completely different style of comedy. So, but I mean, he was popular. I wouldn't say he was like totally misunderstood during his time. He definitely had his following, but if you did not follow him, you didn't know. And that actually spawned one of his funniest jokes because he talked about how you might not recognize him from David Letterman, but you would recognize him at a store or something like
Yeah.
that. I'm not going to do his one-liner about it, but it was a good joke because it showed that people that didn't recognize him didn't get it. But
yeah. And then he halfway through the set, he didn't get frustrated, but he kind of, how he was saying, kind of like, oh shit, this doc audience, the whole nine. And he's like, how do people know me? And they're like, and then one time he goes, why would you guys come to my special if you don't know who the fuck I am? Like
halfway through it, and they're finally starting to get my shit.
Yeah.
All right.
My favorite joke is he's like, I like to take the microphone and I hold it like this, and then I let it go, and a whole bunch of jokes come out like it's like a hose. Like, it's like, but like he just tells so stupid, like always like. I like ants because if you rip all their legs off, they look like tiny black snowmen. Because like this stupid stuff. Like
my favorite one is like I walked by a laundromat at 1 a.m. and the sign said, "Sorry, we're closed." And I said, "No need to be sorry. It's 1 a.m. It would be ridiculous for me to expect you to be."
Yeah. Or obviously the one everyone talks about is escalator can never be broke. They can just only become stairs. Like sorry for the convenience. Like
escalator temporarily stairs.
Yeah, escalator temporarily stairs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he was a genius. And my second album that I bought, and I get a lot of flack for this, but I don't care. He's still one of my all-time favorites because it just brings me back to the childhood, or a point that I'm very fond of is the first 2-3 Dane Cook CDs.
I knew you were gonna say. I have no idea why, but I was gonna say. I knew you were gonna say that, but it bummed me out when I got older and I realized that he was taking from like Louis C.K. and some other stuff. And people have claimed like parallel thinking, but I don't know.
Yeah. I thought his first 3 CDs were just. I know I was hooked on him. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was funny. I liked his energy.
I didn't buy a stand-up album until I think Nick Swartz.
The very
honestly, but I could recite you every single word from every Weird Al album ever made.
Yes,
like that was my childhood.
Yes, I'm a huge Adam Sandler.
I like
Sandler and Weird
stupid humor. I mean that's my thing.
Yeah, Adam Sandler and Weird Al were always my go-tos. Like you got to listen to this. Another comic that I'm a huge. Obviously, we're talking about some of the greats. Just throw some names out there, like obviously George Carlin, phenomenal, one of the best of all time. Richard Pryor, but a guy who passed, 2 guys who passed away from me that I thought were amazing, and I don't think they got the respect they deserved until after they were gone. Was Patrice O'Neill.
Patrice O'Neill.
Yeah. Patrice O'Neill was phenomenal.
Amazing.
And Greg Giraldo.
Yeah, Greg Giraldo is definitely pretty good, but Patrice is like on a different level. Funny. He's what you want to be if you're kind of like a comedian.
He was like intimidating because he's such a big, scary dude.
Well, he was complete because he was good on stage, he was clean on stage, but his facial expressions really made it. Like if you watch his special Elephant in the Room, he does a lot of his facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
I guess somewhere along the line somebody told him you need to like capitalize on that because you can see his old stuff where like he's wearing a suit and he has a mustache and he's not being very animated, and then Elephant in the Room he's being so animated.
He's like in sweatpants. Yeah. Well, he's the one that made the joke that you should respect your elders, but then she called me the N-word, so I called her an old bitch or something like that. Like respect goes something like that. Respect goes both ways. But I always liked Patrice O'Neill. I miss a stand-up on Friday nights on the Comedy Central. Like for 10 years, I watched people in high school that didn't really peak until I was like almost another 10 years after those specials came out. Like I remember watching Kevin Hart's first special before everyone knew who Kevin Hart was. Dane Cook before everyone knew who Dane Cook was.
Mm-hmm.
Who's not the fluffy dude? Jeff Dunham.
Gabriel Iglesias.
People are gonna probably get mad before Jeff Dunham, but Jeff Dunham 10 years ago is still the same Jeff Dunham 20 years ago. Like nothing really changed for the most part. Like
I think both versions suck.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan. There was an old interview, and I can never find it. They probably stripped it from the internet, but there was an old interview with Louis C.K. from like right before he hit his prime, and he was talking about how much he struggled for the first 10 years watching comedians pass him, because he worked with Sarah Silverman and all kinds of comedians, and he said they were getting Saturday Night Live gigs, and he just wasn't a good comedian, and he turned into one of the best ever aside from the creepy stuff.
Yeah, the scandal, we'll say.
Yeah.
I don't know the full story of the scandal. I just get bits and pieces. So
I can explain it. Basically, he had a fetish for jerking off in front of women, He was kind of known for like asking if he could jerk off in front of women, and he was at a comedy festival with these two comedians, and he asked if he could jerk off in front of them, and I guess they thought he was joking, and he did it anyway. And this is where the scandal kind of comes in, because if it's an added detail, it changes everything. But the story is that he blocked the door when they said we're leaving.
Oh.
So that's what makes it a pretty big problem.
Yeah.
But somebody went on to the Comedy Sellers podcast and said that detail is made up. And if that's made up, that changes the entire thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to feel about it. I'm not going to buy like, oh, he has power over people, so he's taking advantage of that. He can't help who he is if he's working with other comedians.
Yeah.
He sees himself as a person.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's if he blocked the door, it's a massive problem, obviously. Yeah. And obviously I'm not going to say that it's not creepy what he was doing. It's just how wrong was it is I guess the debate.
So the story that was on Howard Stern for a while is, and a few female comedians came on and told the story, is it wasn't so much that so I didn't hear the part where he would ask people. So he would be like, hey, I understand and he would do it with dudes too. They would say like, it didn't really matter. Like he would be like, hey, listen, I jerk off. I make a lot more money than you do as a comic. If you need to share a room with me, I get a double bed. Like you could use the other bed, but at like 8 o'clock at night, I'm going to jerk off, and I'm going to do it with or without you in the room. And the one female comic was like, I toured with Louis, and it was just something, he never asked me to touch it. He never asked me to join in. I would just sit in the corner and read a book. I was like, oh, Louis doing his thing, or I would just leave the room. That's kind of what the one person
I do think
said.
it was more than that.
Sarah Silverman kind of threw him under the bus, though.
Really?
Well, she sort of supported him too, though. She said that early in his comedy career on Howard Stern, I don't know the interview you're talking about. He said that she said that, but it was more of a fetish thing. So it wasn't totally innocent, which is where it comes like that's obviously.
Yeah, I don't know if Louis. I remember the story coming out. I remember him having to apologize for it. I don't know about the blocking of the door aspect of it, though.
Yeah, that does change things, though.
It changes everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's still a weird act. Like I've never asked somebody if I could jerk off in front of them, but it's a weird thing. But there is like this movement right now where you're not supposed to kink shame. So what side are we? I'm not sure what side we're on.
Yeah,
I don't want to get political or anything while drinking beer. I just
when alcohol involves.
I don't think you can judge someone's actions of yesterday by today's standards.
That's a huge thing that I can agree with. You can't like. So if it's a celebrity,
I'll give you an example.
Michael Vick, Michael Vick killed dogs, but he's on your favorite football team, so I'm going to let it pass this time. Like you can't pick and choose. Like
no, that's not the example I was giving. But Molly Ringwald is quoted as saying,
"More touching her face."
She's actually sorry that she did the Breakfast Club because they're judging the portrayal of those characters on today's standards.
Those characters are timeless because those characters were the same characters when you were in school.
Exactly.
They're the same characters when I was in school, the same characters when he was in school. That movie is timeless.
But those characters today don't fit today's standards.
All I keep seeing online is people are rewatching this movie and they're butt mad about this. And
yeah, exactly. they're judging people.
Wait till they find Blazing Saddles.
Oh yeah. that's a comedic. That movie's a classic. Yeah. You can't make that movie today.
No,
you can't make that movie today.
Not only can you not make it today by the standards of the content it pushes out, but Molly Ringwald was like 16 years old and the rest of the cast was in their 20s, and they shot up her skirt in a scene.
That was
you know what I mean?
That was a stunt double crotch, but
I'm saying like
stunt crotch.
Yeah.
I got one of them.
But no, like she's saying that, I'm really sorry I ever did that movie because she's basing it on today's standards. Back in the 80s when I was in school, that was high school.
It was high school for me in the 2000s.
You had your clicks.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I do think that if there's problems where we're making people uncomfortable or whatever, we should obviously address those and try to progress. But to your point, it's very valid of where it's a different time, and to get mad about it now is sort of it's nitpicking, and I think it's going to annoy people more than it's going to stick to your own message.
Speaking of comedy, the comedian from Minnesota, he had to resign from Congress.
The comedian.
I can't think of his name.
Al Franken.
Al Franken.
Yep.
And that man put more time in learning how to be a senator than politicians spend being a senator.
Mm-hmm.
He came in to politics with no history of politics. So he had to read all of the legislation to understand it. He spent more time understanding what his job was and doing his job than senators today. And he was forced out of office because he was being judged for what he did 30 years ago on today's standards. And I that's another example. I just think it's bullshit.
We also need to treat. We can't put everybody under an umbrella. And I think that is sort of, I am a left-leaning independent, but some of the problem with the left is we cannibalize our own and we don't judge individual cases. We're saying if this is wrong, then everything is wrong to do with it.
He didn't break any law.
The blackface.
It's a picture. All he did was take a picture with his hands on a girl's chest.
And it was during a period of time where he was a comedian, and comedians do funny things.
And she had a breastplate on, I'm pretty sure.
Whatever. But
I think so.
It's like, do you remember? Who NASCAR fans? There was a pit road. You know how the cameras go up and down pit road before the race starts. Kevin Harvick's wife is leaning in the car talking to Kevin Harvick, and Tony Stewart comes up. They're best of friends.
He smacks her in the butt.
And he smacks her in the ass. And of course they thought it was funny.
If that happened today, it would be the end of the world.
You understand what I'm saying?
The first horse of the apocalypse would have rose from the ground. It's starting.
The problem with today is we definitely put everything under a black and white veil, and we don't allow for a gray area.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And like when it was getting really popular for a while there, and comedians were getting backlash for their acts, I was like, sometimes comics are going to push the envelope. They're going to say things that are controversial. They're going to say things that are going to push that. But there's some people on the planet, I'm one of them. If something tragic were to happen, I kind of cope with my tragedy with humor. When Cujo passed away, 2 days later, there was a Snapchat filter of a St. Bernard. I was devastated. I still heartbroken my dog's gone. But the next day, I was like the Snapchat filter came on, and I was sitting next to Heidi. I was like, "Hi, I'm dead, Cujo." She did not think it was funny, but it was my coping mechanism. You know what I mean? I kind of find
not funny at all. I'm laughing at it.
It's definitely a weird time to be a comedian.
Comedians today shy away from playing colleges.
Yeah, well, that's a big thing. I mean, there was a
you think they'd
recently,
clean up there, but no.
There was a comedian recently that was kicked off stage. And
because sorry for the liberals, but that's what you're being taught in college: how to be a liberal, how to be a bleeding liberal, how to be a bleeding Democrat. That's what they teach in college, more or less. Education to me is more about teaching how to think for yourself.
I would agree.
Not teach you my point of view. And I think that's where a lot of colleges stray from education. The instructors are teaching their point of view.
Mm-hmm. I never went to college,
and these kids are buying it. So
my thing is, I sort of agree with you, but I also do think that the big thing going on, especially in colleges with the liberal movement and everything like that, I think it comes from a well-meaning. I think they mean well. I think it's coming from a good place, but it's taking it too far. It's not teaching that there's a gray area in these situations. Police brutality is a big one. There's cases of racism, clear as day racism, and then there's cases that are not as clear. They're black and white, but we treat them all the same.
Yes. And
that's becoming a huge problem. But I mean, I think it comes from a good place. I think it's just social media forces everybody into an opinion, I feel like. So I just think that this is such a new technology. I think we'll learn from it and we'll grow as long as we all keep meaning well, but it's like I said, it's too far right now. It is scary to be a comedian.
Yeah, the problem is just with social standards now is if you represent a side or a left, right, middle, liberal, whatever you are, the media is going to find the worst representation of that person, and that's going to be the representation that represents everybody, and that's not the case. So so if you think right wing conservative is like they find like the guy with the biggest fucking point on his hood and be like that's my folk, you know what I mean? And then you're going to find like the furthest left that's just like I have 48 genders and everything bothers me, and that's not the case for everybody. You know what I mean? Like it is something that, you know, he's saying like our technology and social standards have changed so quick, so fast that people are still trying to figure it out, I think.
Do you remember the goth kids in high school that were like, we need a plague, and everybody's like, this guy's a weirdo. We need a plague. Like, what, you want everybody to die? I've never related to anybody more in 2019 than the goth kids from high school.
I agree. I agree.
And big titty goth girlfriends. Like, come on, they had it right the whole time.
Goth girls
we
are
shouldn't have been making fun of them.
Yeah, they dance weird, but they're cool. Let's go real quick. Let's talk about La Cabra. Open concept passion fruit. Ben, I'm not gonna lie, when I took my first sip, I was like, you cocksucker, you snuck a sour in there, because it has a sour kick to it.
Passion fruit is just one of those fruits that I was really surprised that they actually did an actual IPA on that.
Yeah.
I didn't even care for that.
I gave that a 2.5. But I think if more sour, like if you took a sour beer, because a sour beer has a very, very good aftertaste, but the initial taste like puckers back here, and it's like eating a sour candy.
I love that. That's my favorite part. Is when
we do a sour episode, we'll have you back, and you two can
actually
touch each other's penis over it.
Actually,
I gave it a 2.75. I'm not a big fan of it. I thought it was a little on the sour side. Mm-hmm. I'm not a sour beer fan.
I'm not at all.
But I thought it was okay.
It wasn't terrible. I wouldn't drink a bunch of them.
I think it's a step up from the first two I had.
Yeah,
that's why
it's the first one with like a fruit flavor.
Yeah.
The only thing that really saves this beer is adding the vanilla and the lactose into it.
Yeah.
Because passion fruit, you can put it in Berliner Weisses or sours. And that's really what it's for, really.
Yeah.
And like every beer that I had passion fruit in, I taste it every single time. Like the only very close fruit that you can pair it up with is raspberry, and it's like that's usually like a sharp alcohol flavor to a beer if you're going to add fruit, and that balances itself out, makes it a little bit sweet, but. Yeah, I did not care for that at all.
Yeah.
Don't take me for defending this or nothing, because I didn't quite enjoy it myself.
Yeah.
But I do usually like sours, and that it wasn't particularly sour. It just had like the hint of it.
Yeah.
Sleep. What is this?
Definitely wasn't for me either.
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah, that's
scary.
Yeah.
The IPA.
I've suffered from it.
IPA.
To finish my point, about it's scary to be a comedian right now. I think that the backlash for comedians is because people say things like, well, all truths are said in jest or whatever, and that cannot be further from the truth for a comedian. We can tell you honest comedy. We can be honest about our life.
Just like
I was going to try to catch it.
Trying to
But if we think something is funny, we'll go there. It doesn't mean we believe it, but it sucks that I was saying this too at the Conversation Cafe. It sucks that all the media coverage of comedy is so overwhelmingly negative.
Yes,
because it's always when somebody feels like a comedian goes too far. There's never a positive.
Who do you think are two comics right now that push?
This is in Untapped.
Who are two comics right now that you think?
Let me check it.
That push the envelope and talk about super controversial things, but they don't. Like, it seems like it's okay for them. Like they've hit a level where they kind of get away with it.
Matt Sprague.
Who's that?
Matt Sprague.
Yeah.
I feel like Kevin Hart's allowed to say whatever the fuck he wants.
I don't think Kevin Hart does really anything controversial, though.
He's allowed to say what he wants. I feel like never has anybody ever been upset about anything that he's
except
he just got kicked off the Oscars.
Yeah. It was the first time.
Yeah.
But
Bill Burr is
I don't think
Bill Burr.
I don't think people are mad at Kevin Hart. I think people are just over Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Because he's been shoved down our throats a lot over the last couple of
Well,
years.
the problem with
you're talking Hollywood. I mean, that's the most left-leaning group there is in the country. Is
I hope I'm not being selfish.
multi-millionaire.
This is my favorite one so far.
was it left Forest in Maine?
Forest in Maine. Yep. A productive sleep paralysis.
Is it in there?
It's just like it doesn't have like a label, like for a picture.
Oh, okay.
That's a much lighter
That's
one.
Type in Forest, Maine,
and
and that's an 8% alcohol. That's a high one.
this one?
Yeah.
Wow,
This
that's
isn't-
super light for that high.
This is tart.
Yeah.
Comes to mind.
I would say my examples of that would be Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Chappelle's returning comedy thing was at a college, and they booed him off stage. And then a couple weeks later, he did a Netflix special, and everyone's like, "Why did this guy get booed? He's a fucking genius. Like he's so much sharper than he ever was." Like, I would say they're the two examples. Like Bill Burr doesn't get he'll say it on late night television. Like he's just crazy. I think he's great.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Obviously, he's one of the best. He did a really awesome tour of New York. It was kind of comedy, kind of not. It's probably actually a couple years old now, but he was taking you to the places and explaining what it took for him to get where he is, talking about how many mics he would do a night and take you to all these different venues and show you like we bounce from this mic to this mic to this mic. That is sort of the advantage that like New York and Hollywood comedians have above us, is they can bounce to so many different mics a night. The reason I started the Wednesday night mic is no one does a Wednesday. We're trying to come to a middle ground where we can meet. So Monterey City was pretty perfect actually, because the comedians from the South and the Wilkes-Barre comedians can all come down. But we're just trying to get a mic for every night. Somebody's music is way too loud in our car.
What was that?
Scared the shit.
I couldn't tell
Yeah,
where
I thought it was Heidi that was coming back.
I thought it was a car.
I for sure thought I was dead.
Like,
That was it. I was like, it's over. I accepted it. Take me.
I forget what I was going to say now. That crushed me.
But anyhow,
yeah.
I kind of want to touch up on like with the social norms and like re-looking over those movies. Now they're looking at Ace Ventura Pet Detective, and then too because it's transphobic. Because
You wear a tutu.
no, because
No, Fingal
the one character is found out to be like transgender or something like that, and the one cop pukes in the scene, and I'm like,
Because he had sex with him.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well, no, yeah, the part he's talking about where the guy pukes is when he like rips away the skirt and you can see the bulge or whatever.
I'm like that. I'm like, really? That was it was made in the 90s.
Yeah, I'm
Now
at the
I
point
know-
where I'm drinking so much alcohol where I'm like, this shit's stupid. Let's go to a mic. Fuck these people.
Yo, now I'm like trying to just rack my head of older movies that like, if like
today,
yeah,
people be freaking out over.
like obviously Blazing Saddles is got to be like
That's the most
Oh my
blatant
God.
one.
that's got to be the most controversial movie of all time, and no one talks about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Until now,
Yeah,
way to put
yeah.
it out in the public.
Yeah,
Now
I
we're just gonna-
Sorry, and it's on both sides too. It's just like there's a lot of really funny-
Animal House.
Oh, Animal House, yeah.
Animal House.
I will say, I have to
He
say
has
this.
sex with a 15-year-old in that movie. Are you almost had sex with a 15-year-old?
A drunk, passed out 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
If we're gonna
Yeah, I don't think that
Yeah,
was
the little,
okay.
the little,
I
the
don't
little
know.
angel, the little angel on the shoulder, the
Yeah.
little devil on the shoulder.
Just do it.
Fuck her, just fuck her. And you could not make that movie today.
Yeah,
The only people who make those movies are like Seth
that's funny.
Green. Like,
I'm sorry, but that's funny as shit. Animal House is a fucking classic, funny movie. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Another one that you can even say then too, Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks. When the one little guy like sleeps with the
I'm off
you
when
know-
you guys are talking about one movie. So I haven't seen shit.
Really?
I've never seen any of the Star Wars movies. I've never
Oh my
seen a
God.
Matrix movie. I've never seen half of these movies.
Star Wars
I'm
is
off.
Yeah,
Get
I'm
out.
not missing much with the
Yeah.
Matrix movie. I-
Star Wars is incest, right? Incest in Star Wars.
Yeah.
To finish off this
yeah,
point
Leia
too,
kisses Luke. Oh boy.
Yeah.
It's not like a brother sister.
Not like they had anal or anything. Come on, it's not, really
Not on
incest.
screen.
Not on screen.
to finish it off too, though, we're talking so much about like how people are on the internet. I do have to say, I don't want to scare people away from coming to comedy shows. These
No,
people
no,
don't
100%.
come. They don't come to comedy shows. Everybody,
No,
first
they
of
stay
all,
on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Comedy is super inclusive. First of all, if you go to the Lancaster mic, it's literally all genders, all races, all sexualities. It's super inclusive. And I'm sorry. One time, I had an audience member come up to me and be real like social justice warrior. You need to stop doing what you're doing. But that was one show in Scranton, and they actually warned me that might happen.
Fuck you.
No, first of all, my material wasn't even that offensive. I do a joke.
What was your joke that was so bad that they got upset
I do
about?
a joke. I'll just ruin my own
Was
material.
it the same one as Coney?
No. I'll just ruin the material. I'll do the joke. I have a joke where I talk about my ex being a feminist and how we argued a lot over boobs. And one of my jokes in there is I support a woman's right to breastfeed in public because I believe it is a natural act.
Mm-hmm.
But I also support my right to masturbate to it. Because and I did that joke, and this real life social justice warrior feminist came up to me like, "That is such a sexist joke," and she was like,
You're
legitimately pissed off that I did that joke. But that's the only time that's ever happened. Usually, it's
Yeah,
My favorite is just the
the
people
chat
that are
just went
like,
crazy when
"You
I said
made that
What
joke?
are they saying?
Like, you must truly believe
right.
that always."
Steve, go fuck yourself, Steve.
Steve said you need to start banging beers. But we're getting there. We're getting there.
Don't worry, we got a few more.
So I gave that a 3.5. I wasn't super crazy about
That
that.
was my
But
favorite
for
one so
being at 8% alcohol, that'll sneak on you. That beer that'll creep on you.
Yeah, that's the one I'll be drinking all night, and then I'll punch Steve in the face.
I got to be honest. None of these so far are
This is
all day beers.
A lot of this one would be an all day.
No, none of them would be an all day beer for me.
Did anyone
That
get like
would
a
be.
popcorn flavor in that? Because I did.
I got like a fruit blend.
Yeah, someone.
Yeah,
think
you
it
got
might
me
be-
real
I think it
excited. I
might
was
be
like,
the
popcorn. I like
apricots.
food.
The one description.
Do we have more of those?
The one description in there was peachy. I got no peach in that, but I got a fruit blend. Yeah.
But you know what though? Like now with Otto's, they make a apricot ale, and I taste popcorn in that all day.
Really?
I taste popcorn all day. It's like
I can
no
see
matter what.
popcorn in the.
Yeah, there's popcorn in the sky.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go.
That sounds like a trippy Beatles song.
You can't be the only one then.
Popcorn in the sky.
Truly can't be the
No,
only
just
one.
something with me. It's fucking goofy. I don't know.
All right, this looks like a Pink Floyd can or something you see at the Philadelphia Art Exhibit. Like two people holding hands over a fire.
And if we're wondering where Forest and Maine is, they're in Ambler, PA. I don't know where that is. 61
Philly
North Main.
So I gave
Philly.
Ben a
North of
challenge.
That for me, that would be an all. I mean, it's 8%, but I would
I mean,
I would
it.
drink that with meals.
I forgot what I was gonna say now. Oh, so I gave Ben a challenge last week. I said you gotta get some PA beers because we gotta get some beers that people can actually go to because we're getting a lot of stuff out of the area. So we had to kind of change it up a little bit. I think what I want to do for the next episode possibly is go to like a beer location, somewhere that sells beer, like Wise or Monty
Like a
City
beer distributor.
or Minersville,
Mhm.
and have the staff pick out a 6-pack for us, and then bring it here
Oh my
and
God,
drink
don't
that.
trust the people at Weiss.
No.
Do it.
Yeah, maybe not Weiss, but the other places have them pick out a 6-pack or a mix of 6.
Yeah.
And then this way, when we review them, we can give the location of the place so they can go and get those beers. So we're helping a local business. So I think that'd be a cool thing to try out. Maybe for
Anybody want
That'd be
any
dope.
Yeah, that
I'll tell you
last
in a
one.
second.
They're in PA. If they want to sponsor me, I'll hold a can of that every time I do comedy.
I'll drink your beer forever.
Yeah.
Yo, Meatball and I took this
What is that
dope.
flavor?
We took glamour shots pretty much. We had pictures, professional pictures taken for the stream. And we did one where we were both holding these bombers of Victory beers. Like we got to send this to Victory. We got to get a Victory sponsorship. They didn't care. They didn't
This guy-
ever respond to us.
Did you ever get anything from the Flyers or the Phillies for your tattoo?
No, nothing at all.
That is
This
a
has got
damn
kind of like
shame.
a wood taste to it.
Sad.
So Cheesefoot has a really, really funny tattoo. If you're on that new Gritty movement everyone's talking about, he has a tattoo of Gritty and the Philly Fanatic fist bumping and high fiving.
They're buds.
There's like a best buds tattoo.
See
I like
it on
how they- I
Instagram.
like how they
It's
integrate
the cheese
them, too.
foot.
I like how they integrated.
Popcorn
the
is an off
Philly-
flavor in beer. Tyler Buttawash said.
Yeah.
So I guess you're getting something. You have like a different
Like I
palate.
said, there's no way you're the only one. If they put it on the can, there's got to be a reason, right?
Yeah. So this is what is this one?
That's
A play about friendship. Speaking of friendship, his tattoo, Best Buds. This is the gritty Philly fanatic beer right here. That was
This
a good
one's
segue.
kind of
We didn't
earthy,
mean
and
to
it
do
tastes
that.
like wood.
I'm
Shit, this
I'm
is
picking
still
up
Ambler.
like a smoked.
Yeah, it's
I'm
Well,
picking
they
up
are
like-
standing over a fire. I think.
No,
Yeah,
you know
it's
what?
kinda dark.
I'm picking up like a smoked grapefruit flavor.
to me,
Don't
it
taste the
kind of
fruit.
tastes like no wait.
That is actually really cool artwork. I like that artwork a lot on that one. Like that would
Does it say who does any
like
of it?
I would hang that in my house.
Maybe
Yeah.
slight
Look at
smoke.
their
But
hairy
I
legs.
get a little bit of a pine.
I like the
like a
Mhm.
smoked pine.
oh this one. Yeah, I like the art in this one.
I have
It's the
one up
same
there.
company.
I have one up there from Pizza Boy that it's called the Orange Julius and it's called the
No,
Juices
the
Loose.
white
No,
Bronco.
the
Nice.
White Bronco.
White Bronco.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
They fucked up though. If they put like a spaceship in the sky, this would have been.
yeah. That's they're my like ones I kept because I either like the art or there's a meaning to it. Like
Did you ever see our wall of fame that we had at the old Street Lab?
No.
It was the entire cabinet space. There was a beer across the entire thing. We ran out. It was
Really?
all the best beers we had ever had.
Oh, wow.
So that
When
one
we
there.
moved out, we didn't
That one
take
there's
it
a
with
Stone
us.
Cold beer. The next one over is one that Dave gave me for my birthday, and that was a discontinued beer that you can no longer get by Stone. The next one has Pennywise on it. It wasn't that good of a beer though, but it had a cool Pennywise on it. The next one is Flying Dog, which is my favorite brewery, and that's the Gonzo. It's the only time I've ever found it, and that's like the Hunter S. Thompson beer. The next one is Conky Dong, which is Donkey Kong with a glory hole in his barrel. And the next one is the White Bronco, the Juice is Loose, and then the other one's Wrestling Moves, and it has like a cool 8-bit and like the Nintendo wrestling game on it.
Did you say the monkey one has coffee in it? It's like a coffee.
No, that one's an orange flavor, like an orange
Oh, I
type
thought you
flavor,
said something
citrusy.
about coffee.
Yeah.
I like coffee beers.
I don't. They're
We should
my
do it.
Gross.
they're my least favorite.
I got a surprise, maybe 2 surprises for Tony later.
All right. Well, I mean, if I'm not completely like, I'm good. Like, if I'm not complete, because we're sharing between 5 people,
I'm not bad. I was drinking all day pretty much, like since 6 o'clock. Fuck you guys. Like I've been doing
I
this.
might still go to that show.
I didn't leave my bed until like less than 2 hours ago.
15 minutes ago. Yeah.
But I had a whole bunch of stouts, some sours. I brought a sour from Imprint Brewing Company, and it was like literally huge can, basically fucking disappeared, cleaned out in like 15 minutes. Like that's how good the beer was apparently.
Do you have
No.
more of these?
I do not. Those were my only 2. Well, that's the only one there, and that's the only one I got from my.
Well, they're in PA, so you can take a drive and get them for
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ambler, PA.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Down for your-
It's like the
I want to
mid-county exit of 476.
Yeah.
Do you have
Lansdale.
Do you have a brewery that you've had so far that you're like, there's not many beers that they produce that you're not a fan of? Like, do you have a favorite brewery?
Victory.
Victory?
I'm a real big Victory guy. There's
Okay.
nothing that they put out that I don't love usually.
Yeah.
No, I my beer knowledge is very limited. I don't know many breweries. Whatever the one out in Detroit was probably they had I can't describe how smooth it was, but it was unbelievably smooth. That's my one complaint about IPAs is sometimes they're bitter, they bite.
Yeah.
Like especially if they get warm or whatever, they
Mhm.
they start to skunk.
Mhm.
But that place was completely opposite. They served everything in chilled mugs too, but it was super smooth. It was a weird beer because it wasn't very carbonated, so it was almost like a combination of drinking like a whiskey beer. It tastes almost exactly like how they describe it, basically.
Yeah.
I always tell people we're very, very lucky with where we are right now.
But we have a great
Because-
water source.
I always tell people that the best places in the world to get beer are either the Philly area or Belgium. I wholeheartedly believe that. And when I say Philly area, I include like Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton. You have Separationist in Easton. You have Weyerbacher in Easton. You have Funk in Emmaus. You have Fagley's in Allentown. Down in Philly, like you have the Philadelphia Brewing Company. You have Evil Genius. Victory right outside of Philly. You got Yards in Philly.
You know,
I
like
like Yards a lot.
Trogs and Hershey. There's just like all of that in that general area. Everything that they like. There's very rarely do you see a beer come out of any of those breweries. It's not fantastic.
there's also an awesome place down in Allentown. It's like a German restaurant inside the mall.
Oh yeah, I've
they,
been there.
They have a lot of imports there.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
really cool.
The northeast side of the country has been renowned and talked about a lot for their like Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania,
Definitely New York.
My
New York,
favorite-
New York,
Massachusetts.
Boston.
My favorite
New York
non-Philly
State.
brewery.
As
Goose
much as
Island.
they're known for
Yeah.
their wines, they're getting to be known for their craft beers too.
Oh,
New York
definitely.
State.
Wherever Sam Adams is brewed, when they first started, they had a lot of different stuff that was good. They just sort of went downhill for me, but I liked a lot of Sam Adams stuff in the beginning.
Hey Alexis, how you doing? Alexis actually runs our fan page for Interviews with Everyday People. She's really cool. Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah,
Alexis.
she's excellent.
Yeah, Sam Adams. I don't think I've had something from Sam Adams I don't care for.
I should have brought.
Their Oktoberfest is
You know what I
like
should have
top
brought?
notch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
all right.
and they were
But
a little
I will
brewery
give
that just
Yingling the
started
nod
up
on
there.
I think
Oktoberfest one.
I
Yingling
agree.
has the better Oktoberfest.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly. Have you ever have you ever had the Victory Fest beer?
No.
It's my
No.
favorite Oktoberfest.
Really?
It's delicious. And
Yeah.
I only got one of them last year. Like
Yeah.
searching for it. I was only able to get one bottle.
Yeah. What would you say brewery for you that you're a fan of? You're saying Sam Adams?
Sam Adams, and I know we featured them a few weeks ago. I've yet to have a bad beer from Cortland Brewing.
Yeah, Portland was a good time.
Yeah, that
And I
was good.
brought that 6-pack down, but I get to go to Cortland there about once a
Did
month.
you get my message about that growler of the beer they made?
No,
I tagged you in something. They made a growler of this beer that sounded really good, and I said when you're at work, go grab a growler of it.
no, I get the chance to stop in and see what they have on tap.
Did they say anything about our episode?
He wasn't there.
Bummer.
yeah.
I stopped in. I was up there Thursday night into Friday, and I stopped in Thursday right when they were closing. They closed about 8:00.
Yeah, Tyler said that Pennsylvania has the most production in any
Yeah, they
in
have
the country
most
for beer.
breweries,
Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
For craft beers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say brewery wise your favorite?
Oh boy.
I mean,
Okay.
you live at Other Half and Trillium, not Trillium, Other Half and
Hudson Valley.
Hudson Valley. That's like I think you pay rent there. You sleep on their sidewalk so much
No.
for releases.
I mean, like those would like Other Half. I really haven't gotten a whole lot of, but it's kind of like a treat for me to actually get that.
the
stuff.
Other half set list we did last week was a good time.
That was
Yeah.
I love that. That was phenomenal,
Yeah.
and that was the one that Nikolai crashed and burned on. But
It
that was all Imperials. Like everything was like from like 8 to like the highest was like 8.7.
Yeah,
So like
I said earlier that the thing was called Imperial, and I'm pretty sure that's not it. Because I'm seeing Imperial on
style
all
of
the
beer.
accounts.
Yeah,
it's-
Imperial's a style. Yeah.
yeah.
I have one bottle of Dogfish Head the Fort at home. And
That
they're
120 will creep on you.
well the Fort is
I have a bottle. I have
it's
a bottle permit.
inconsistent on the
So-
ABV. It sits between like 16 and 18.
Wow.
And it's somehow delicious enough that you would never know. Like it's the equivalent of if you drank they sell it in a 4-pack. If you drank the 4-pack of that, it's not unheard of for me to drink 4 beers in an hour.
Yeah.
If you drank the 4-pack of that, it's like if I crushed an 18-pack of Keystone Light. In an
Yeah.
hour.
Oh my god!
Like why would you ever do that to yourself? But it's so good.
So I when I was in Vegas, I don't want to say Vegas doesn't have a good craft beer scene, but coming from Pennsylvania, they don't hold a candle to us. I had Sin City Brewing. It was a good brewery, but it was very watery to me. There was really no flavor to it. That was just my opinion. My favorite beer I had in Vegas was a Wahlburgers beer, but that's brewed in Boston. Like Wahlburgers has their own exclusive beer, the Wahlburger IPA. It's a good beer. It was a really good beer.
Out of
Well,
all
if it
my
was
traveling
in
and
Massachusetts, yeah,
Yeah.
because
But
Trillium.
But while I was
I should have
there,
brought that along for you guys just
Yeah.
to try. I think it was a quadruple
Trillium is really good.
IPA for you guys.
He brought a few Trilliums one night. We were sitting here playing video games, and they were really good. But
Fun experience, by the way, too. Definitely go there for next
Boston.
time. They're like in Canton, and then like they're outside the Boston Convention Center. Definitely do it.
so
from my experience in traveling and touring
And they
and
do
stuff,
stouts too.
when you
Stouts,
get to different
saisons, they do all
bars,
styles.
you get very disappointed if you're a craft beer guy.
yeah,
Like I go to a lot of places, they'll be like, "Oh, what kind of beers do you have?" They'll be like, "Well, we got Bud Light and we got PBR," and I'm like, "Well, this is just great. I guess I'll just have a PBR and hate myself."
that's a funny thing too, because I'm the same way. So if I walk in and I'm a craft beer guy, and they say, "Well, we don't have craft beer, but we have Miller Lite, we have Coors Light, we have Keystone." Or no, Keystone's usually my go-to. We have like PBR. I always pick the shittiest beer out of all of them because it has a different taste. Because I like Miller Lite is literally water to me.
When I just did that last tour, it was the entire time. The only thing they had anywhere was light beer, this, PBR, that. And I was like, none of these are good. And then I got to Boston, and it was one of the last days of the tour. And in Boston, they were like, well, we don't have much, but we got Narragansett. And I was like, give it to me. Like, give me all the Narragansett lagers you got right now. Just bring them to me. I want it. Like, I was
it good?
So relieved. Have you ever had a Narragansett lager? It's delicious. It's the beer. It's the beer that Quint drinks in Jaws.
Really?
And it's delicious. They actually at Weiss for a little bit. They had 6-packs of them for $4.99 for some reason. I swear to God, it was supposed to be $14.99, and they mislabeled it. So I saw it, and I took 2 up to the front. And she rang it up, and it was the girl that works or she's like the bar or the beer manager or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And she rang it up, and she's like, that's not supposed to be right. And I was like, yeah, I'll be back in. I was like, I'm gonna put these in the car. I'm coming right back in. I left with like 6-packs of it. There was no way I was not leaving with those.
And what was that beer again?
Narragansett.
So my favorite brewery that I really, really, really want to go this summer, I'm making a trip. I'm doing it. I'm a huge Flying Dog fan. There's only one Flying Dog beer I had that I didn't like, and that was because it was a jalapeno beer, and it was just I don't like hot stuff to begin with, and it was just kind of gross to me.
Was it that Carolina Reaper peach one?
Yep. And I was like, I'm a peach fan.
Oh, they make the Reapers.
Yeah,
they made a Carolina Reaper
so
beer.
Flying Dog makes the big ones you can get in our area that's really popular is Bloodline.
Raging Bitch.
Raging Bitch is a popular one. Every Christmas they have really good Christmas beers that you have. I gave you that sea sour caramel one that you.
Are they the one to do that blueberry ale?
No.
Oh, that's Sea Dog, I'm thinking.
Yeah. But in Vegas. So I'm in Vegas, and we're at the MGM Grand, and I'm like, I want to get drunk because my feet hurt, my body was hurting, and I just want to get hammered. So I'm sitting at the bar, and I'm like, how much for the Coors Light or the Bud Light or whatever, a Bud Light? And he's like, oh, that's $8. And I was like, yo, was that a Dogfish Head in there? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, is that the 120? And he goes, yeah. I go, how much for that? Just curious, because I know that's probably triple the Bud Light. And he goes, and he goes, that's $3 a bottle. And I went, what? And he goes, we can't sell it because no one in Vegas knows what Dogfish Head is. And I said,
oh my God.
I was like, can I take 2 of those? Because it was the cost of 2 Dogfish 120s was the cost of 1 Bud Light like pony bottle, like a big bottle. I drank 2, and the guy sitting next to me was like, what are you drinking?
I'll wait until you.
And I was like, this is Dogfish Head 120. It's a Delaware beer. It's really, really good, and it's strong as shit, and the price they're selling it is criminal. Like, and the guy's like, do you mind? I was like, here. And he gave a sip, and he goes, oh, that's fucking strong. And I was like, I said, one of these is 3 of those, and it's cheaper. And he goes, I'll take a Dogfish Head. And like everyone on the bar was like, we cleaned the bar out. We were all hammered.
Well, I can tell you, like I with how much I travel too with like poker and stuff, when you're at these casinos, everyone's just ordering generic stuff. Like, because I always know I'll have Rolling Rock or Corona. They'll never say we don't have that. So I can drink those. So yeah, craft beer probably wouldn't do well in sort of a setting like that.
We went to
have like a Jack and Coke.
We went to the Sands in Bethlehem, and on tap was a Flying Dog beer, and on tap was also all the domestics, all the lights, and it was a $4 on tap beer for Miller Lite, Coors Light, Bud Light, and the Flying Dog, which was like $3.50 a tap, or it was on the same par as the same. They're like, we're just trying to get rid of it to get rid of this tap because no one's drinking. I was like, I will be your best friend tonight. Like
that's what
for the same price.
Everyone just goes generic. It's all about just getting back to the gambling for a lot of these people.
Yeah, and if I would sneak more craft beers in there because if you get people drunk on those, you'll make a lot more money back.
Legitimately, Tony, like usually like a bottle of that. I went to a bar in Mifflinburg that was selling singles of that. That was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. $18. So you got a fucking deal on that one.
Yeah, in Vegas too. Like that's like the MGM Grand in Vegas. And it was
I bought that 4-pack of the Fort, and it cost me $46.
Yeah. But one of the questions in the chat was favorite beer. I like yellow beer. The like yellow, like I go by the color. Usually if you're the yellow to amberish color, kind of like our logo, that's my range. The darker they get for me, the more coffee, like, cause it's really popular with coffee and everything. And it's just not my thing. So I can't really go wrong with, like, I can drink yellow beers all day long.
For me, this is going to be a corny answer, but for me, it's Land Shark. I'm a huge Land Shark person. A lot of people don't drink that much. It's got a very light taste to it. It's bare, but
have you ever had Icy Light? Because a lot of Land Shark people like Icy Light.
Yeah, but it's Land Shark it's got a better like taste to it. It's not as watery as like those other ones, but it's got like a good taste to it. I like Land Shark.
Is Land Shark kind of like the upstep from a Corona?
It's like the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of, but it's smoother.
Have you ever had Labatt Blue?
I don't know if you can.
Oh, dude, I like those for some reason.
I don't know if you can put Land Shark and Corona in the same category.
Like
it's like it's like it's lighter but smoother. But I would actually compare the two, but it is sort of different. Yeah,
they're it's a lager. It's still a lager, but like they got a name for it.
Like that Corona?
Yeah, that Corona's a lager. Land Shark is a lager, but there's a name for that like light color lager.
It was funny. You were mentioning how like places have trouble selling beer. When Land Shark was around for a while, they were having trouble selling it. It was by far my favorite beer. So they started doing a promotion where if you bought like a 32 pack of Land Shark at this beer outlet by me, you could get a free 12 pack of Jimmy Buffett iced teas. Because it's his company that makes Land Shark. So you were getting 32 Land Sharks and a Jimmy Buffett iced tea.
So another cool thing with craft beers that we kind of talk about in the show is I don't know if you guys ever experimented with this. You're a beer drinker. Have you ever tried aging beers?
Like me personally?
Yeah.
Well, like basically like sitting on them for a little while. Like
I can't keep a beer in my fridge to save my life.
Yeah, so we try to age some. It could bite in the butt, bite in the ass, or it can be amazing.
The only one I've ever had that was aged like on purpose. Well, not even on purpose, but Brandon brought us back this bottle. It was like Leipziger Goza. He brought it back. He smuggled it in his carry-on back from Belgium with him, and it was it's made in Germany. I actually just found 5 bottles of it at the beer store in Northampton a couple weeks ago. They charged me like $8 a bottle, and I took them all. I didn't care.
Another thing,
but it was out of date by like 3 or 4 months by the time we got to drink it, and it was a sour because it's a Goza, and it was still delicious. It was possibly even more sour.
Sometimes they hold their flavors a lot better. Another thing too with the flavored beers is you don't really want to drink them ice cold either. If you not saying room temperature, but like right now, this last beer, if you feel on your glass, it's not chilled, but it's more, you might get more of a flavor out of this now because it's not ice cold.
Yeah, see, that's my complaint with the IPAs though, is as soon as it loses its chill, it starts to skunk. A lot of them. I'm not saying everyone, but that's why I really don't like IPAs.
We're really on this hazy kick tonight for sure.
Yeah, how's everyone feeling right now? Is everyone feeling good?
I'm fine.
If we added something,
I've been seasoned since 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
I mean,
besides this is my favorite one so far.
So I'm gonna bust out one of my aged because we're talking about aged. We're gonna and I'll put a little dark beer on the table for you.
Wait a minute.
That whiskey barrel one that I
This is from Tired Hands.
What's that?
Huh? This is from Tired Hands.
Is that a darker beer?
No, this one would be a darker one. Well, actually, why don't we do this one, Tony? This is the imprint one with the peach and mango.
I was gonna bust this off for you guys, buddy.
The whiskey barrel aged one that I mentioned, the Imperial Pumpkin, that was aged for 18 months in vanilla whiskey barrels.
Oh, I can't do none of that. We did a Southern Tier beer night at my job the one night. We had the rum barrel aged pumpkin. We had a Tai Chi pumpkin.
Did you bring this?
We had the standard pumpkin, and we had one more pumpkin, and then we had the Warlock on top of it. I was like, I could never. No,
one IPA, double IPA.
That shouldn't be it. But there was never in my life was like, I don't want any of
I'm
these.
opening it, so we're drinking it.
My brother bought me like a home brewery kit for Christmas one year.
Oh, dude, Lord, that's
I never
what
used
I think
that.
it is. It's exactly what it is.
Okay, I got it.
Find it? Cool.
But like you really got to watch with like when they ever do anything with like different like bourbon barrel, whiskey barrel, like they even do rum barrel stuff then too. Like the thing is like it can either really benefit the beer and make it an experience versus, oh my God, I'm drinking flat out whiskey.
Yeah.
The punch, Tired Hands Brewing.
Punch.
But I know one I could definitely tell you that I had. It's one of my absolute favorites, and it's actually a Trillium collaboration beer with J. Wakefield. It was a bourbon barrel aged affogato. I think it was an imperial stout. That smell of the bourbon, you thought, oh my God, this is gonna be rough.
Yeah, it smells like whiskey when you're drinking what I was talking about. Yeah,
you thinking rough. Oh my God, what am I gonna get myself into? But when you sipped it, just because like Trillium with quality standards and like J. Wakefield, like the both of them like did multiple collaborations with stouts. Like they made a tiramisu stout.
Nice.
They also made like this Nanamoy, like this different like coconut like
wasn't sure if they could face
cake type of stout that I just had today at Hudson Valley.
You're gonna pass your.
I mean, I couldn't get enough of it. Like if I had to die and have like one type of each beer, like tap wise, that would be it. Like it was that good. Like I rated a 4 points. I was like so close to rating, just say fuck it, hit the 5 and be done. That's how good it was. I mean,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You would just be sitting on it for days, just enjoying it. You're like, wow, it was excellent.
That's how I was with that one out in Detroit. It tasted so good that I just wanted another one. I was eating my food and I was like, I forgot that I was drinking alcohol until that little demon came in.
When we were at Guinness, I'll do a segue to you guys finish your drinks here. We went to Guinness and we walked in and we're like, man, this is a beautiful, really, really nice place. And I was like, what are they going to do?
That's my favorite one.
This is really good. Yeah.
I like this.
Oh, that last one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I'm totally opposite. I thought it was gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what can you? Hey, different opinion.
I get it at 3.5, but it was really good. Sorry, I'm getting the beer burps. But yeah, we walked into Guinness and I was like, what are they going to have, 2 beers on tap? Like, they built this huge building to have 2 beers on. Like, what are they going to like? So I was like, all right, whatever. And no, not at all. So Guinness Brewery in Baltimore literally took it seemed like an amazing craft brewery team, like everyday Joes that know what they're doing. Gave them Guinness money, Guinness production, Guinness Guinness equipment, and just said, make awesome shit. But the cool thing, the only problem is everything you make will probably never see a bottle and get in general production, which kind of makes it cool and makes you want to go back to the brewery, because every time you go back to the brewery, they change recipes and they do different things. So they make so you'll always have Guinness. They usually have like an anniversary edition where it's like a super aged Guinness, which is kind of cool. They had an oatmeal stout. We were there. He was a huge fan of the Guinness oatmeal stout.
Yeah, I've had that. It's good.
So they keep like the Guinness tradition with their beer, like the Guinness flavor, but tweak it in different ways. So they had a Guinness black IPA. So it was like
I feel like I might have seen that before.
So it's like a black Guinness, just like if you were to pour regular Guinness, and when you drink it, you get the Guinness flavor, and then what? I put the other 2 in the fridge.
Okay.
Yeah. You get the Guinness flavor, but you have the hoppiness of an IPA. It was one of my favorite beers I've ever had. Then they had a triple IPA, Guinness triple IPA. I sniffed it and I went, you ever have a beer that you smell or you taste and you like flare, like you're like, woo! That was a triple IPA. I
chop to the chest real quick.
Well,
every time you sipped it was a chop to the
Fucking
chest.
horrible.
Like, so I sipped it. I was like, whoa, that's a triple IPA. And the girl was like, yeah, we're only allowed to legally give you like a certain glass.
That's how it was the
amount
first
of
time
it,
I had
yeah.
the Fort. They had it on tap at the beer store in Northampton. And I had one and I was like, this is one of the best beers I've ever had in my life. I was like, I'll have another one. He goes, no. It's like, what do you mean? He goes, I'm not allowed to give you another one. It's like, oh, all right. I guess I gotta come back tomorrow then. And we did. We went back the next day.
Yeah. And then he sipped it and he was just like it was like a shot of it was like a shot of pure grain.
Yeah,
it's great.
Well, one of my weird, you haven't been in one of my shows in a while, but one of my weird comedy drinks that I drink all the time is like I have to make me like an Irish car bomb, but as a drink. So it's a full can of Guinness and then 2 shots of Jameson and then a little bit of Kahlua, and I just drink that as a drink when I'm doing comedy.
So you're the actual psychopath that just is like, you know what?
Give these a quick rinse
Every day, just drink it, just like a regular drink.
I've
That's
always
pretty
had
cool.
I've always had a crazy high tolerance. When I turned 21, we had a.
So
I don't know
listen,
if my friend is
do
listening
this
right
first,
now, but
Matt, and then because you don't want to get them mixed up.
Okay.
I don't know how.
I'm gonna go 2 at a time.
Yeah, thank you.
My
I
friend,
don't think you guys are worried about germs, but I just want to be self-conscious.
my friend,
My germ.
my friend actually might be listening. That was at this party, but we had a party for my 21st birthday, and I made kind of like a decent sized money bet with
And
somebody that I couldn't chug a bottle of Grey
That's
Goose.
him, and then this is me.
Okay.
And
now, like I said, you can smell it, just don't drink it yet. This is heavily aged.
yeah, fuck my story.
All right, this is heavily aged.
Goose
Don't
Island
drink
is
it.
very important.
Don't drink
Yeah, don't drink it yet. Heavily aged. So just keep that in mind when you drink. So it may be good, it may be good, bad. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Go ahead.
Thank you,
Susan,
sir.
sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Like syrup.
Oh, and this is your favorite style of beer, Tony.
That's why I said I figured.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Everyone drank all the
You
yellow
have the
beers.
fucking balls that actually
It's real
drink
dark,
actually-
and I feel like I'm
what I
hate it.
think you're gonna
You saved the
drink.
best for last.
Smells like orange peels and cough syrup.
Really?
I got chocolate. Definitely chocolate.
Yeah, all the chocolate.
Definitely chocolate.
I feel like that means
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
rinse
hate
or-
it.
I'm gonna rinse it.
All right.
Yeah.
That for sure means I'm gonna hate it.
What what do we got there?
No, don't worry.
See, it's a
this,
goose.
This is Goose Island. Honestly, one of my favorite experiences in Vegas, Goose Island had their own brewery in the Hard Rock Casino.
Goose
Very,
Island
very-
just put one down in Philly too now.
Really?
Mhm.
Where's Goose Island out of?
Chicago.
Yeah, there's
Is this
Chicago
the
made.
Brandy Stout?
This is the Bourbon Original County Brand Stout. So this is this is the 2017 version.
So aged about 2 years roughly.
Yes. So this was aged when I bought it. They sold it aged. This came from and it's
Yeah.
signatured and everything from the brewer. This was sold already aged at like from 2017, and you were only allowed to have one per customer at the Humboldt tap. I bought it,
You can
bought
smell
it,
brandy
and
in it.
aged it another year.
You can smell
We'll
it.
check that out.
Wow, that just fucking gave me shell shock. Wow.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna
That
hurt.
lit me the F up.
I like
It's
how
gonna
we're
hurt.
drinking all this fancy alcohol, and I'm gonna go get fast food after this. Just shovel
One
this
of
shit
your
into my
finest McChickens, please.
if you're
Probably
looking,
Taco
wow.
Bell.
Aged
make-
by 2 years.
I'll make a gangbang, please.
I'm probably heading to Taco Bell for one of the double
You think I knew that,
cheeseburger
did you? I'm smart. You think I'm like.
So if you have I have a suggestion if you want good drunk food, Unity in Frackville has honestly one of the best chickens.
Like the best
Do
chicken.
they have like a rotisserie chicken or what?
No,
It's kind of like
it's the chicken
It's like
name.
KFC.
No, it's the feathers and all.
Basically, it's very similar to KFC. It's
it's very similar to Chick-fil-A.
No.
Yes, it is.
Fuck no, Tony.
Yes, it is.
No. Okay, no. I gotta disagree with you on that. It's like a combination
I gotta
between.
tell
Feels very passionate about this.
Okay. It's
So when you
it's
check
like
this in,
a combo
make sure
between.
you type in 2017. This is no longer in production. So this is a beer you will never, ever, ever have again. This is it.
We should have saved this for first.
But here's the thing though. It's like a combination between
I hate dark beers.
KFC
I hate
and
dark beers.
Popeyes chicken in a way. Because it's like 50-50 both those things.
It's good. It's good
combined
chicken.
into one.
It's
It's
gas
like
station
light,
chicken,
but like
it's
at the
awesome.
same time, like you have a little
Do-
bit of spices
they
into
deliver?
it.
No.
Can we Uber
But-
Eats it?
All right. Goose Island, gentlemen.
Go team.
All right.
I am not a fan of dark beers, but here we go. It definitely held up.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
That
Tastes like chocolate.
you know
A little
what?
bit.
That's smooth as fuck.
That is smooth. All right, so this is your
This
experience.
is not like you're
Getting like
puckering
vanilla,
Tony
chocolate, vanilla,
Blackwell.
and caramel.
Right.
All right,
Tastes,
so-
tastes like
so-
mocha,
yeah.
a little bit, like a mocha flavor.
All right, so now the aftertaste. I'm getting the mocha. The way aftertaste. I'm getting mocha.
Oh yeah, I
The
got
initial
filled up.
taste, I got. Now, when someone says chocolate, like, oh, I have a chocolate beer. Bullshit. It's gonna taste like coffee. That initial. All right, so you initially get that bourbon and chocolate, and then once it subsides, then the mocha kicks in.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is a perfect example of how you could age a beer. This was aged for about a year, unrefrigerated, and then when we started the show, I had it sit in the fridge for a couple weeks, or maybe a month now. So this held up. This was a good age.
I
I
broke
like
it out
that.
for the comedian episode. You're like, yeah.
You know what I'm picking up?
I'm picking up
The
it's really
initial
fucking strong.
the initial also includes some vanilla.
Mhm.
Yeah, like a little tinge of it.
Right,
but you can
when it
tell.
hits.
Intense aromas of charred oak, vanilla, caramel, and smoke.
I'm picking up what you putting down.
So you hit that.
A 14.7% alcohol. Now it's been aged, so it probably maybe went up a little bit.
So
But it's smooth.
So
It's
like
not-
look at it this way, like you're tasting like that like the bourbon into that.
Mommy's
And
okay.
then-
Mom's checking on you. She goes, "Oh, there you are. I guess you didn't tell her you were coming here."
Nancy Beast Oil? I love Beast Oil.
You're not,
Hi, Nance.
but
Here I am.
Matt said hi too. My fat body blocks him on the camera.
But like I always try and like teach our our guests like what to pick up. You kind of know, you have an idea. You might have an idea then too. No, you do have an idea. I'm not
You're
no,
retarded, but
I'm like no. But anyhow, you guys are picking up on a lot of this stuff. Like you could really taste like that bourbon barrel, and then like you kind of like pick the nuances while
Tastes
you're
like
drinking
I'm
it.
chewing on the edge of the barrel in a good way.
Yeah, with a little bit of vanilla at the end of it. Like it goes so fast, and then like when you try and pick it up, you're like, oh wow.
When you
picked that
check
up.
this in, just make sure you say that it was aged in their year and that you picked it up at the Humboldt Tap. Give them some credit for that.
there's some weird dude.
Now I
just
gotta-
somewhere
That place is
jerks
pretty
off
cool.
to these reviews.
But the last time I went there, I made a mistake. I did a
Oh,
flight
come
of
on, it's the
all their
internet.
jalapeno beers. I don't know why I did it.
CKing.
Like-minded people. Oh,
I don't want to out him, but when I first bought this app, I was like, all right, well, I'll just already check in the beers I know I drank, and I got a private message from somebody. It said, dude, you had 14 beers tonight? And I was like, well, no, I just downloaded this app. I just wanted to kind of know where I stand. And he's like, bro, Untapped works. You have to drink it at that point in time. And I was like, sorry.
You know what? I'm even gonna go. I'm gonna go your direction then too, because
Mom said that I thought this was a Sunday show. I was supposed to have an interview. You see, you're late to the show, Mom. You should tune in at 8.
Yeah. Where
I
you
was
been?
supposed to have an interview Sunday, but it fell through. I want to watch wrestling tomorrow, and Heidi's not home, so I had to do it tonight.
yeah. Last time you did it
I
on a
actually
Sunday
like the
morning,
Saturday
the night
night.
after I got wasted at my show. So
I
yeah,
actually like it on a Saturday night. To be honest with you.
yeah, this is
It's
a much better.
This one always happens. I like to go see live music
Ooh,
Oh yeah.
I got a thing. Are you doing
or
it
wrestling shows
next Sunday?
next Sunday.
Because next Sunday is St. Patty's Day, right?
Believe so.
So that would be a real difficult one. But say you do it on, like the Friday, 3/16. I'll gladly come stone cold some beers for with you.
That's a very tempting offer.
But
I can't.
She
316. I can't.
It's the bottom line.
It's Mom's birthday.
Oh shit!
could drink too. She could have a big
completely
Your
old-
mom celebrates Stone Cold's Day every single year.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
How do you edit?
How do you edit? You go into like the actual beer that you had, and it's on the top like right hand corner. It says edit, then and you can go from there.
Speaking of 316, I don't know if they're watching or not, but my wife is actually in New Jersey at a Monster Con. So she met the little girl who played Michael Myers' niece in the original in the Halloween, where she she wears his outfit. Remember? I don't know if you remember. And then she met Christina Ricci today, and then yesterday she met Shawn Michaels. So I bought 2 pop vinyls. That's the one of them I bought. The other one I bought is an exclusive one that you only can get at like Walgreens or something, but it's like old school Shawn Michaels, like with the mullet, and he autographed it.
Horror conventions are so weird to me because, like, one, they're really cool and they're always a lot of fun. I've been to a couple myself. It's always fun, but they're always like, yeah, we got the cousin of the guy who played Jason.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. That was such an obscure reference. Like she played Nurse Number 2 on Poltergeist.
So I mean, if
You remember that kid that drove the truck in Critters?
Yeah.
We got him.
So
He's still alive.
They still
you can
the
pay them
ironic part is
$50 for the autograph.
So-
And ironically, that's the truth.
Yeah, so
unfortunately.
the girl who played in Freddy vs. Jason was there. The girl who played Michael Myers' niece, he's trying to kill with Jamie Lee Curtis, was there. The entire Meatloaf was there. Shawn Michaels was there.
I gotta tell you, a story
Kane was
about that.
there. The entire cast of The Craft was there. The original. So that they went for that. They're big fans of that. So they're gonna get the entire cast. I'm trying to think who else they met that they got a group photo with. I forget, but they got a few group
They got the
photos.
guy who worked the original puppet of Salem on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. He's there. He's there all weekend.
He's there all weekend. I only went to one con. It had a pretty decent lineup. I only went to talk to physically 2 people, and I snuck in line with a friend for another one just to hear his voice, and he didn't talk to us, which I was disappointed. Adam West was. They say don't meet your heroes, you might be disappointed.
Batman.
I was disappointed.
You were disappointed.
I was disappointed.
I snuck into a VIP meet and greet with Craig Owens a couple weeks ago, and just ended up hanging out with him for like half an hour. Like everybody else was all like timid, hiding in the back, and I'm just hanging out with homeboy. And he actually asked me to send him my stand-up, which made me
really
like fangirl real fucking hard. I was like, this guy that I love him performing wants to see me perform. I was like,
that kind of happened.
Please.
So I obviously it's hard. Like Randy, I love Randy to death. We all know Randy. He's a great dude. So when Randy played in Pottsville, I was like, oh my God, fucking Randy's playing. I interviewed him. I'm wearing your shirt, Randy. So I'm actually wearing this shirt. I'm wearing the shirt that Randy actually designed, but I was like, Randy, I'll be honest with you, I like the hands better. He's like, I tried to fight against the hands, but they won. So I went in there and Eddie was like, hey man, thanks. The podcast was awesome. You're doing cool stuff on your show. And I was like, thank you, Eddie Reyes from Taking Back Sunday.
See, I love Randy to death, but when I was talking to Eddie, it was just like, all right, like it wasn't
like, but the whole band was like the drummer came up to me, the bass player, and they're all like, "Yo, man, the podcast is really cool." Like, I was like, "That's awesome!" Like, I didn't expect.
I love the Randy introduction too. Like Randy when he's like, "This is Matt. He's a fantastic comedian. He's one of my favorites. He's one of my best friends. I love this kid. Here's Greg."
I love
that whole
Randy.
The Randy introduction.
That whole interview when they did the cats, I literally was sitting like right here.
There was fucking cats everywhere.
I'm not kidding you. Fucking
that would have been my
kittens.
podcast.
I'm like pushing them in to keep them contained.
So we tried to
like I was like the cat nanny.
We tried to keep them in the kitchen.
Oh my God.
So Randy calls me here. Yes. So Randy calls me and he goes, hey, I'm ready for the interview. I was like, cool. He goes, I'll be there in 15, 20 minutes. About an hour. I'm leaving Philly or whatever. I'm on my way from Philly. I'll be there in about an hour. I was like, all right. He goes, are you cool with cats? And I was like, I don't know. He goes, cool. I'm bringing a box full, and hung up.
I have one of those.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You actually have my favorite one.
Yeah, he's awesome.
The gray and white one.
Yep.
That was I almost like. So Randy's like, I need you to keep one. I was like, so I had the gray and white one in my hands, and I put them nose to nose with lady, and the lady was like, this is cool, and the cat was like,
yeah, they would have got used to it though.
Yeah.
Cats adapt.
But I never raised the cat. We had a cat one time in our whole life, and it wasn't a good experience because he was a fucking dick.
Yeah,
dickhead.
I'm not a cat.
They all are.
Yeah,
but they're cute.
Not a cat
yes.
fan.
That cat
They're not cute.
See, my cat's the sweetest dude ever. He's just like
he was a
only
cool
one
cat. That's why I
cat,
wanted to keep him.
I mean, my personal cat too. He's just like a little homie.
I was
we
happy
cuddle
you
at
got
night.
that one. Like I took the gray and white. I was like, oh, that was my favorite.
There was only one cat that I really truly loved, and it's Ricky Wetzel's black cat. The mom named Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah,
I called him Cat Goof.
You guys are heathens. Yeah. Cats are amazing.
No.
I like cats, but I mean, like, I would rather
my
dogs.
cat literally every single night he has this routine. Like he'll
my mom made a joke about you the other night about your cat. She's like, fucking Matt is goddamn cats.
He'll jump up on my bed, like he gets under my blanket, which I call the cuddle cave, and he puts his face on mine, and I hug him. We're just two naked bros cuddling at night. It's
so you get naked with your cats?
I sleep naked.
I think it'd be more weird if you dressed up your cats. So I think you're all right.
Yeah, that'd be fucking weird.
If I do like professional headshots for comedy, it's gonna be like me in a tuxedo with my cat in a tuxedo.
Don't have a Louis C.K. moment with your cat. That's
Everyone tries to sexualize my best. He's my best friend.
What are
right?
you gonna,
don't fuck your best friend.
Are you gonna beat off the cat or what?
No. Have you ever jerked off to say your cat?
Jonathan Miles all the time. It's like, how many times have you fucked that cat? I'm like, if I fucked my cat, you mean how many times have I added his name onto a song and sang it to him and then said meow to him? A lot.
But anyway, so we're doing the interview. We're like, all right, we'll just keep them in the box and hopefully they stay quiet. We're like, so they were super quiet. We had a box on top of a box, but we had air holes. We were fucking sad, right? So all of a sudden, we're like, hi,
Cue me for this part.
Ben's queued up. So, hi, this is Anthony with interviews with everyday people, and then the cat, like literally a cat's hand came up like Freddy's glove, like Jason's glove on Friday the 13th, and then like cats were just like peeking their heads out and like.
Oh my god, it's fucking
You couldn't
chaos.
contain them. They were like face huggers popping out of the pods. I was like, we should just let them out and go. And like right there on the podcast, we just opened the box and they're running around like. And Randy's like, let me get one, and it grabbed the whole thing and ripped the whole set down.
Then one actually jumped on the table itself.
Yeah, it was.
While you guys were, it's like the cat's just like,
Yeah.
and they're like, holy
It was a blast.
shit.
Cats was growing everyone because even Randy didn't like really like cats until he had that one, and then when he was giving me that one and trying to say bye to it, he seemed all emotional.
Yeah.
He's like, here you go, man.
Those
Here's
cats have so many funny stories. Like, so he brought the cats then to Steve Fulton's house, who's like a super
Yeah, they
allergic.
came
to
from
cats.
Ohio, so like, they went everywhere.
Yeah, so he's super allergic, and his wife's like, I like this one, which is the gray one, and took him in the room, and she's like, you got that fucking cat on my bed, and his eyes were swelling shut.
Steve was like
He had
Penny
his-
from South
He
Park
had his hood
with the
up.
hood up.
He had
And
his,
he's just like,
he had a hood up,
holding it down.
and his eyes were swelling shut. And he's like drooling all over
oh
himself.
my god, was
And
it funny?
Kenner's just laying in the bed with the cat.
That was the friends. That was the friends Thanksgiving. The Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving.
dinner.
Yeah.
Oh
it
my
was
god,
so
that was
funny.
that was a good time. I like
then,
that.
And then, well, those cats were all made during their first album, so that's kind of cool. Those
Yeah,
cats
that's the
have a
first time.
backstory.
First, I met them when they were tiny kittens, just born. We were coming back from my poker tour in Detroit. We stopped at Port Clinton to pick Randy back up. Randy let us use his van out there. It got a flat tire. The battery.
The white
died
van.
one night. Yeah.
So that was the old boys upstairs, man. That thing is a death trap.
It was,
Wait,
it was awesome,
that
bro.
one or was
I mean,
it the
truth
the
comes out.
scary one?
The white boys upstairs.
Yeah, I mean he had
Oh
that one,
my
but he
God.
before that, the one before
it
that,
wasn't
the
before that
terrifying
No,
one.
no.
The boys upstairs
Oh.
one was terrifying.
There was definitely some rapes happening in that van. It was
Well, there was no rapes in the boys upstairs, man. But it was so unsafe that it was scary.
I literally called Randy the night we got a flat tire, and I'm like, dude, you're a rock star. You know you don't have to drive this, right? But I appreciate him letting us use it the whole week we were around Detroit. But it was so funny because we were playing in the high roller section of the poker room, but we were driving this van into
Randy's outlook on all that stuff is hilarious. He's like, why would I want one nice van when I could own a series of 6 or 7 terrible
Yeah,
vans in
like
that
why
time
buy
frame?
one really nice one that'll be super reliable for the next 10 years? We're gonna have 15 really shitty ones. Like,
Yeah, the first time I ever
That's
got
fucking
into it, I
hilarious.
literally broke the driver's side handle. He's like, you just got to pull on the top, and I pulled on the center, and it just popped out. He's like, oh, fuck it.
I love Randy.
Yeah.
Randy is
He's the wild card.
he is the wild card.
Yeah.
Well, the first night I ever met Randy, I don't know if I should tell the story. First time I ever met Randy was I was going out to Detroit to see my best friend Michael Elias, and he was roommates with Randy. And I rolled my car 4 times. I went to the hospital. They shot me out with like Dilaudid or whatever, and they're like, we're going to keep you here for a night. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to work for me. I have plans. So my dad picked me up at the hospital. We met Mike's girlfriend in Ohio. We came to Detroit, and Randy's like, I knew of Randy because we were in the music, like he was in the music scene or whatever, but I never formally met him. And he's like, dude, you had a rough night. He's like, let's go to a strip club. And he took me to the rattiest strip club in Detroit.
That was the best night of your
It
life.
was like C-section Tuesdays with like bad Botox. This girl had the most horrible lips I've ever seen in my life. It looked like somebody stapled them onto her. And and then afterwards, Randy's just like trying to pick up strippers. Oh yeah, this kid's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he is a blasty
He's
blast.
fantastic.
Yeah, I
Randy.
love that kid to death.
First time I met Randy was when you brought him over with trivia, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, like, hey, it was we did trivia at Romans." I kind of like I'm on and off, and
I used to be very frequent.
Randy was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Like he only knew like a Michelle Pfeiffer question. We ended up fucking winning like $45 or $50, like
Yeah.
because we had to pull like we had like 8 or 9 people on the team, and like it was so great because like
Zachary
had, like-
Harris says hi cheese.
Gang.
Gang. That's all you get, Zach. Sorry.
but yeah, like but yeah, when we did the trivia, it was just
Thank
like
you
really
for-
cool meeting with Randy. I'm like, we love you, Randy, like from
Thank-
South Park.
Thank
and
you,
I'm
Zach,
just
for
like,
tuning in. If you don't mind,
Me-
give
me
us
and
a like
Randy
and
were doing-
subscribe. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Me and Randy were doing
Zach's the
comedy
realist.
stuff together. Like he sort of got the idea for Cheesefoot to start Son of a Mike. So then we partnered on a lot of stand-up.
yeah.
So,
Actually, I'm taking credit for the start of open mic. I'm taking all
Well, it's
fucking
all
credit.
you.
So Randy calls me. We're hanging out. Randy come home. He goes, "Yo, let's hang out." And then he took me hang out with Cheesefoot and Meatball while they played video games, which I was like, "This is fucking cool." So I was watching them live stream. And then he's like, "Yo, we need to get Cheesefoot to Wilkes-Barre. I know a guy who does open mics it was like Thursday or Friday."
Yeah,
so I'm like, "All right, cool."
Thursdays.
So, well, at the time, it wasn't happening.
Yeah, it's
we drove an hour and 45 minutes in one direction, and Cheesefoot was like 8 Mile in the back seat. He had his headphones on. He was just like going over his stuff, getting psyched up. And I'm like, "Randy, is this like a legit thing?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Can you do me a favor?" Because my friends are like Steve, Randy, Dave. I'm like, "Do me a favor. Can you call ahead and just make sure this is a real thing? Like, we're already about halfway there, but let's just make sure." He calls and the guy's like, "Dude, Randy, I haven't done that in 10 years."
It was
literally like 7 or 8 months. It was like a long.
Yeah, it was about a year actually that Wisecracker stopped doing the mic.
So
Yeah.
we just turned around. No, he was taking us to the casino. It wasn't even like
Yeah, no, that's Wisecracker.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in Mohegan.
So we literally turned around and like, "I'm so sorry, Cheesefoot," but they were like, "No, thank you so much for at least attempting to take us." Like, they're really grateful. And I was like, "Why don't you guys just like? Why don't we just do like? Why don't you do your own thing?" And
dude, we were already on our way back for like 20 fucking minutes, and they were talking to me the whole time, and they thought I was like just devastated in the back seat, like not responding to them. I had no fucking idea, and I was like, I looked up eventually. I was like, "Why the fuck are we going back towards home?"
Yeah. He had his headphones on. I had no idea. He's like, "Why are we going home?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, Randy. It's not even a thing."
Well, the way Randy recruited me to that was he was like, "Dude, you're the only comedian I know. We're doing a comedy show tonight, or this night. You should come out, do your thing, or whatever." And then I get there, and it's only me and Cheesefoot on this. He goes, "You're cool with doing a half an hour, right?" Like, all these people are there. No comedians are there. The place was packed, and he's just like, I haven't done stand up like because I quit for a while. The reason I quit was I did an open mic contest down in Jersey, and they called it New Jersey's Funniest, and I ended up winning it. So these old comedians got a hold of me, and they started promoting like winner of New Jersey is funniest, and it was like a picture of me on the flyer or whatever. But they like weren't paying me for the show or whatever. So I just started to like gradually hate comedy. I got a really bad. My first run sucked.
Yeah.
But I
do another rinse.
Randy was like,
Yeah, I don't mind.
"You need to start back up in
Wait a
comedy."
little bit.
We'll do the swirl.
I want to wait a little bit. I have to pee anyway.
All right.
But it was like a while since I did it, and we show up in this room.
Amateur, you have to pee already.
This room full of people, and he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "I told all these people I know you. You could just do like a half an hour, right?" You know, like, "Right, what?"
You're gonna shoot a special.
Dude, we fucking promoted the shit out of that and had a ton of people come too.
And you only had
It
2
was wild.
comics.
And then I was the only actual like Cheesefoot and Sarah. It was like their first time.
Yeah,
I was the only experience.
that was literally
comic
like
that showed
my
up.
4th experience telling comedy.
Yeah.
It was that goddamn night.
We
Randy
actually-
sold it like he had fucking Dane Cook coming in.
Yeah.
And it was just me. How disappointing.
Yeah. We actually have Sarah on our one show. So we recruited Sarah to one of our shows. She's on the Things That Weren't Cool in High School because she watches a shit ton of movies, so she helps us with that. But she's good. Like I said, the comedy team in this area is very talented, and I'm glad that you guys are getting that push you deserve.
Yeah, I appreciate like it was insane when I announced that the comedy was coming back. I woke up the next morning to 14 messages, and I was like, "What the fuck did I do?" And then everybody was just like, "Dude, I'm so pumped for this," and other people were like, "I should try it." Like, yeah, it was awesome.
I can't stress enough. Trish at McNips, you guys are in for a treat. You're gonna.
Oh, she's so awesome so far. Yeah, she's been great.
They're good people there. Like Monty City, like the 2 bars that I will love to death is the Red Zone and McNips. They're just like really good friends of us as a family. Like
I love the ones that
they're
Red Zone
really
too.
good people. Like I like them a lot. And McNips, you know, they're a good bar. They're a really good bar. They like, especially with the craft beer scene. We gave them a plug last episode. If you want craft beer in Monty City and you want to sit at a bar and drink craft beer, that's the place to go. Don't call her in here, please.
Well,
I told her not to.
Oh,
Some
No.
craft beer.
Yeah, they are-
bars.
And I
They
think
are
she's
adding-
coming down.
Yeah.
I mean this genuinely. The people are
You want to
going to be
she's not gonna.
Oh yeah, that's right.
people are going to be mind blown by the level of talent that like comedically that have reached out to me. We have
I have a little bit. Who wants to finish it?
It's your favorite beer.
Yeah, I mean you can have some too, obviously, but
No, I'm good.
I was at that Reading mic, and already there's people from Philly, Reading, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Lancaster, Ephrata, like and these are not like just starting out comedians. These are hilarious, experienced comedians that are coming up to our little town. So it's going to be like a really, really awesome show.
The first time I seen Coney, and then you guys did the Freak Show, which was that was one of the most best times of my life.
Yeah, that whole show, the comedy went awesome. Everybody was great for comedy.
Yeah, it was.
And then the Freak Show was great. Yeah, I would love to work with them.
I
Again.
stapled
hooking
the
up
nuts.
with them coming up here soon.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, they're cool people. I really like them a lot. Tell them I was asking about them.
Yeah.
It was the first time in my life I ever stapled a nut sack to a titty.
No.
Yeah, I did that. That was
God
fun.
damn.
Was it you that actually stapled the $5 bill to my butt cheek?
Are
Or
you-
did they
No,
do
I
that?
pulled it out for you.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I pulled it
Are
out.
you
I was
counting how
very
many times
drunk.
you're going to do that?
I pulled
That's
the
the first
pen out of
time.
his nose with my teeth.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then I licked it. And then he's
And
like,
you licked it. Wow.
I did. I liked it. He goes, "You're fucking gross." Well, he pulled me up on stage because I was like not heckling, but I was like really like I was
You were
drunk,
lit. You were
I was
lit.
lit.
You were into it.
and I was having a blast. Like I was having I'm here. I'm having a good time. I'm sitting front row. So the guy first goes up. His name is Cutthroat, and he takes a pen. He was on America's Got Talent and everything. He's really, really good.
Yeah, Jeremy Kinnison is his name.
Yeah, Jeremy Kinnison. He takes a pen and he shoves it straight up his nose, like to his brain. And he's like, I need someone up here to pull it out. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm hammered. So I get up there and he's like, I want you to pull it out. And he goes, with your teeth. And he leans in. And I'm like, don't call my bluff. And I just bit it. And he's like, don't move. And I'm like, all right. And he pulled it out. And I was like, yeah. And I pulled it out, like, yeah. And like with the hand, he goes, I don't want that. That's gross. I went, eh? I threw it on the ground. And he goes, now Jeremy has a tattoo that says HIV. And it's pointing to his ass.
It's got an arrow right down to it.
Solid black. And I licked the pen.
The green room with all of us in it was so funny. I was sitting there, I'm like, this is like where the Me Too movement started. Like
Yeah.
this green room is the people in there are insane.
Then later on the night, Scarlett, right?
Yeah.
Scarlett goes up and she has like a piece of rebar on a pair of like thongs, and she hits it with like a circular saw.
Scarlet Storm on
Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook.
It's
and
a
Pornhub.
it's a metal
And
sander.
Pornhub, what's the most important part? Hits it with the circular saw and shoots sparks everywhere. And of course, I'm the loud one, so she's just drenching me in sparks. And if I wasn't drunk, it probably would have hurt. But I'm I'm literally sitting there going, Goldberg. Yeah. But it was such a fun time. And then Nikolai was like, well, you can't really pour it. So.
Matt was thinking about it. He went,
He's like,
I'm gonna have a black and tan with bourbon barrel and peach mango.
Let's
okay,
So
so
you can go right from the can. No,
don't do it.
no.
That's an aged beer, you psychopath.
No, that's actually a fresh beer.
No, I'm talking about the one he was gonna pour. Well, all right, well, now you're
All
really
right,
mixed.
fair enough.
You can drink straight from the can. If you
what a
want,
time to be alive.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Matt's going half Goose Island, half Imperial right now.
well, Imprint.
I mean Imprint. Sorry.
So Imprint Brewing Company is a new brewery that opened up in Hatfield, PA. I actually got to go to this location.
It's pretty good actually. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's about 10 minutes away from my one buddy's house. And I tell him, I'm like, dude, you gotta get me some of this stuff. Like, it's really good. Now,
That is really good.
Now, let me just tell you guys about with ingredients and whatnot. Obviously,
This is a 7.2.
Mhm.
Oh.
Now, like,
Learn me.
Now, like with ingredients, a lot of times, like peach and mango, they usually try and like help out, like with a hop profile or like with a different like dominant fruit. This is a perfect example of what this would be.
my nose.
And I had it once before. This is the one I had once before, but just to try it out, just to see how
What's
it
the
is.
not the guy?
But it's pretty good.
That's really
That
good.
one.
Up the stairs to the left.
Yeah.
To the right.
Right.
This is the best
I
one
just got pee real quick.
for sure.
I like the fruit in it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now,
I
like
mean, you
we
got a
got
chocolate, vanilla, caramel, peach, mango, fucking smoothie. over there.
Yeah. You got a
Pretty
little
sure
bit of
it
everything.
It actually tastes like chocolate covered fruit with that in it. Like it's
It really does.
Yeah, it's really
That
awesome.
was actually a good move.
Yeah.
That was a really good move.
Now there's a lot of people. there's people that actually
buddy.
combine the two different types of beer in
Like a
one glass,
like a stout with an IPA.
like a cuvee. Like
all right. So you want to talk about people combining
Oh,
beers?
dude. Have you ever had anything from Double Barley out of
Oh,
North
man,
Carolina?
freak out. Hold on 1 second. I need to calm the dog down.
Double Barley does They do a steak cake stout and a Thrilla and vanilla porter. And if you go to their brew house, they actually just mix them both together 50-50. And it's one of the best beers I've ever had. I don't like stouts. Cool. I don't like porters. And it's just double barley makes the best of every beer, every type of beer that I've ever had.
And flavor,
they make
like
the best.
Beer cocktails. That's pretty cool.
It's so
I like
cool.
that. You don't hear a whole lot about beer cocktails just in general, really. Like, you know, we always say like Black and Tan. You can technically, well, it is considered a beer cocktail. You know what I mean? Like you can always have
most
what
people
they call,
you just hear like an Angry Orchard and a fucking Fireball.
Or a Fireball. You take a shot of Fireball and you put an Angry Orchard or a Red's Apple Ale. So the first time I ever had an experience where we had an orgy of beers is Scob, our friend Scob. He goes to bars and he does this thing called suicide beers, where you literally get a glass and if they have like 5 taps, and he drinks it. Now you would think it's absolutely terrible. You'd be really surprised how tasty it is.
If you get the right taps on there, it's actually decent.
Yeah. It's decent. Scob's a psychopath. He will be on an episode of this very, very soon.
I have a show coming up later in the month down in Florida. I'm going to make sure I stop by Double Barley and I'll scoop some stuff up to bring up for next time.
Cool, man. And like I said, you guys are always welcome to come back and do more. Let me get this peach mango in my system here.
Florida, okay.
What was the one we just did?
What's that?
No, that's really good.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
That Florida beer that we had a collaboration of with
that was Jay Wakefield. I'm telling him about that.
Yeah.
There's Jay Wakefield and Funky Buddha. Now, Funky Buddha, I think, actually got
bought by InBev. Free level 74.
But like InBev. But Funky Buddha always does like they do like a maple bacon porter. They do like some They do some stouts. They do some not barrel aged stuff, but they do more like bottled stouts and stuff. They're actually pretty decent. Jay Wakefield, their stouts are okay, but you want to go with like if they made a Charcoberry Fin sour. So like you're familiar with Charcoberry Fin? No. Charcoberry Fin is like a late 80s, early 90s flavor from Kool-Aid. And basically, it's like a variant of like fruit punch, but it switches out like different stuff with like oranges, and it tastes a little bit better. It tastes a lot better actually. And they made a sour with that combination. It's like dope. They have pretty much like they go like the 420 theme. Like you have like a bong that looks like the Kool-Aid Man, and then like a stone shark.
I have a bad experience with like childhood drinks and then making beers out of it because Pizza Boy is fantastic. I've only ever had one beer from them. This is the worst part about craft beers. When you have a bad beer from somebody, you remember it.
Yeah. But
Pizza Boy did a collaboration with the Bar Garage down in Fishtown, and they did a Arctic Splash sour iced tea beer. So Arctic Splash is like it's like the same thing as you guys have Gears out here.
Yeah.
Arctic Splash is like the Philly go-to iced tea. It's a carton of iced tea.
I don't know.
It's delicious. It's like the absolute go-to. And they made a soured wheat version.
Sour though.
And it was bold. And I love sour beers. I love sours. I love wheats. I like Arctic Splash. I was like super sold. I went down to the release. Like I was super into it, and I tasted it, and I just went, and I was so disappointed. I was probably the saddest I've ever been.
Tyler, that's what happens when
Tyler, who runs
Brewfest,
he made a beer with Gears Ice.
Yeah, I had that at the Brewfest last year. That was another thing. I wasn't like it was good, but it was like for some reason I guess I expected more of the Gears from it.
Yeah. So real quick, I'm gonna do a shameless plug. So if you're into the show that you're watching now and it's something you're interested in, we do have a PayPal donation link in the description. So if you want to donate, all the money goes to making the podcast better, equipment, the whole nine. Beers, anything. I have 5 shows that the donations all spread out to. But we also sell merchandise. We don't have much, but we have T-shirts and hoodies. T-shirts go for $20, hoodies go for $40. If you're interested. If you've ever been on the show, there's a discount. So that's a plug if you ever want to come on. But this is our Bangin Beers podcast T-shirts. Really cool. This is my personal one, but you got like the little amber yellow beer, and then you got a little bit of an amber. I wanted to go darker, but obviously it wouldn't work.
Like red brown.
Yeah, like a reddish brown beer. Well, I made it. I was like, holy shit, that looks like the Washington Redskins, and I liked it even more, so we kept it. But yeah, if anyone's interested, we do sell merchandise, T-shirts. If I do have to ship them, you will be the first. I have to figure out how to do that. But if you're local,
I can help you out with shipping.
Yeah, if you're local, I can get them to you.
Case Keenum, we got Case Keenum. All is well in the world now.
Well, on that note,
Can I do a shameless plug as well?
absolutely.
Yeah, I like to spend more time with my cat. So if anyone wants to buy pictures of my feet on Snapchat, $5 for the right one and $7 for the left. Yeah, left one's a little better. I take care of that one a little better.
The right one's got that growth.
No,
It's still good though.
Wednesday night, starting the 20th, Monterey City, McNiff's Pub. Really solid comics. Are you coming on the first one?
I don't have my schedule that far out yet.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be a really good show. I know Jonathan, Joey, Sarah, a bunch of the Wilkes-Barre comedians, a couple other Reading ones have already committed, so it's gonna be a good show.
Tell you what, even if I am scheduled, I'm gonna work around it if possible.
Well, while you're looking that over, Cheesefoot, so guys, what do you think about this beer?
It's good.
Oof.
What you like?
I enjoyed it more when I mixed it at first with that other one. But yeah, it's good. I mean, it's all right. Yeah, it's a little skunked from the warmness. I got a little bit of particles in my glass from it, actually.
Yeah, no, I kind of figured. That's why I poured a little bit. I'm like, just
Yeah.
usually whenever you get something like that, I just swirl. No big deal.
Second favorite beer of the night.
Wow.
Oh, it was your first.
The bourbon age.
This was my favorite, followed by the Tired Hands.
I like the bourbon aged, and this one also. This was probably my favorite of the
The
night.
popcorn one for me.
Yeah,
So we did what, 8 beer or 7?
I just they need to work on their spaceship design.
Tony, what did you think about this one?
I gave that, I forget, like a 4 or 3 or something.
Alexis was thinking about getting a shirt.
Who was?
Alexis.
Oh, cool. Alexis, I'd hold off on that. Anyway, but yeah,
It's
so
a different world when you take these on and off, right?
yeah, right.
I've always been a one ear kind of guy in these
Yeah.
kind of headphones.
Yeah,
I get
I'm kind of the same way too.
I don't like losing all of the world.
Yeah, I kind of have it, like I quarter it. Anything else you guys want to cover while we're here? We still got a little bit of time.
I actually.
How much time have we been?
We're about here about 2 hours. And one quick.
Shit.
I have
8 beers in 2 hours. That was a good. Go ahead.
I can do. Do you want to do one more? But it's
No,
a
I don't think we should do
pony
any more beers.
Do you want to do an
Alright.
interpretive dance?
I was totally. Fuck yes.
You want to do another? Is
Yeah,
everyone?
let's do another.
You guys cool for another one?
I am.
down with whatever.
Did someone bring us food?
Huh?
All right, there's a difference because there's one regular can and there's one huge can. Take your pick.
Let's play this for another episode.
Okay.
All right. Because it is 10 o'clock and I'm not.
Well, you can hit me up post episode. Post this episode.
We can do extra content maybe. But yeah.
Subscribe to the Patreon for the extra content.
any plugs, Ben, you got going on?
Nothing really. I mean, just doing my own thing, drifting around for fucking beer, typical stuff. But
Message Ben if you want to trade beers or if you want to go for rides with him on Saturdays because I can't. He'll take you all over the place and you can get a cool experience. Cheesefoot, you got anything got going on? Cheesefoot actually hooked me up with a really cool stickers from his streaming site. That's completely washed out, but it'll be added to the table. Actually, I'll do it right now.
Currently taking a little bit of break from the streaming stuff. Shout out to Meatball on being a new dad, and shout out to
Yes.
Cheesefoot for being the world's greatest uncle.
Woo! Yeah, awesome.
I have not thrown any cheese at the baby yet, but I do intend to.
Please do.
what
I
kind of
will
cheese would
record it. Oh, strictly American, so it flies better.
Oh, I was just saying, like, what's kind of cheese? Good job. Thanks.
But I got a show March 29th in Arcadia, Florida. Radlers. It's there's 3 comedians on the bill. If you're in Florida, come on out.
You're on the
If you're
table sheet.
local, I could swing you down with me because as of now, I'm just cruising down by myself.
The Florida.
When is
Yeah.
it?
29th.
When are you gonna be back?
I didn't get that far yet.
Yeah, if you're back before the show Wednesday night, I'll take it down.
Riding by the seat of my pants.
I'll support you.
It's gonna be good times.
Yeah,
That's
my
all I
job
got.
will allow that, or I would go for the ride. But
Yeah.
I wish you the best of luck.
If you're back by Wednesday, I'll come up.
Heard.
Anything you guys have going on as well, please send that to me. And because you've been a part of the show, we will plug that because now that you're a part of it, obviously, people who have tuned in will obviously want to hear more from you guys or share what's going on. So we'll keep sharing that. Not only will we share it on this page, we'll also share it on interviews to everyday people.
Yeah, I know some of the comedians were trying to come on too. So
100%. Yeah,
They're all trying to come on to you. Actually, you're attractive.
please, thank you. I love that.
Yeah.
Just don't get in my eye.
yeah, I didn't mean to put you on the spot with that earlier, but I was
I want to do like an interview episode. Maybe I usually do interviews with just one person, but if it's something that's promoting something, I'm completely all for it. Like I want to sit down with a full band.
Yeah.
Bad Maggie, I want to do the whole band. Like Faith in Exile's coming back. I want to do a whole band interview, and just I want to promote and get the idea out there for more local stuff coming out. So if you have like your comedy show and everybody wants to come on and we'll sit like roundtable style and talk, I'm 100% down for it.
A lot of my stuff is impromptu, so if anyone wants to add me on Facebook, just Sprague.
Yeah, and anyone else who has anything else going on, or you have a story you want to tell and you want to come on interviews with everyday people, do that as well. Check us out on Facebook. And we have a lot of cool stuff coming up. But just announced the interview that we were supposed to have kind of fell through on us, but it's not completely out of the works. It's just we have to postpone for a future date. But it was replaced with Mike Danger. We're gonna be sitting down. We're gonna be sitting down with Mike Danger on Monday and talking about
Beautiful soul.
Like really good dude. We're going to talk a lot about the local music and the revitalization of the music scene.
Started one of his music videos.
He did.
It was
so
fucking weird. And
he saw my comedy promotion video.
Yes. So Mike, not only is he an amazing musician and he's really cool and he has good bands and he's trying to revitalize the music scene, he's an amazing videographer. Am I saying that correct?
Yeah, videographer.
He does
cinematographer.
He does a lot of cool stuff. He shot a video with Randy and Meow Boy called
The Ghost of Slob.
The Ghost of Slob, which is a huge. It's actually a funny backstory that I think we talked about on Randy's podcast, where and then I'll get there. So it was a story that I guess the guy who used to live in the previous house, he was kind of a slob and the house was disgusting.
His name was Slob, actually.
So we talked about it in the
local business owner,
yeah.
Slob.
So they made a music video. So Meow Boy is kind of Randy and Bishop, and they just kind of make songs that are funny to them, but they're really, really good because they're both fucking phenomenal musicians. But he played Slob in the video, so it appears that you break in the house and just kind of live a slob life.
I took a cheese bukkake by the end of it.
It was a really funny video.
Let me also say this about Randy. If you had a chance to see him live, it is phenomenal. He's one of those rare talents where where he sounds better live than
100%.
Recording.
So I actually, because here's a cool thing with them. So if you bought a T-shirt at the Faith in Exile, at the Faith's Got a Driver show, you get for $15 you got a T-shirt and a CD.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal. That's a really good deal. So I bought a T-shirt. My wife bought a T-shirt. We have a few different things. I have 2 albums. So if anyone's interested, we can do a giveaway. So if you can share this page, like it, and maybe we can have a chance to give a free album away. So this way we can get their music out there. But anything else you got plugged?
I'll add something to that if you don't. If anyone will like and share this, the next comedy show that I have up that's paid, I'll get 2 people in for free.
Cool. So you hear that? If you like and subscribe, subscribe and share this video, the next comedy show in Monterey City you got in for free.
No, it's free in Monterey City. The next the next paid show we have coming up is going to be coming up in Costco. I can't announce it yet because it's a little early.
So there's a paid show coming up that you get in for free for like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate that. Thank you for clearing that up.
There you go.
You got anything?
I'm set.
Anything else? Show besides the show and
no.
I'll be
add me on Facebook.
I'll be sampling Jamaica's finest beers in a few days.
You're going to Jamaica?
Yeah.
Can you try to find that Blackwell rum?
I will try.
Please do. And if you do, bring me back a bottle of Blackwell rum. There's a rum in Jamaica called Blackwell rum. I need to own that in my life.
Yeah.
To get it shipped here is super expensive. But when you get it in Jamaica, it's like you just give them like $1 and a kiss on the cheek, and you get like 14 bottles. So
just trade them a handful of bottle caps and some sand from the beach, and for some reason it's currency.
What are we?
So I may go Facebook Live and sample some beers, depending on what they probably have Presidente down there or whatever.
El Presidente. That's more of a Dominican Republic.
I like
in
the Caribbean they do that Carib lager. It's fucking delicious.
Yeah. If you want to go live and try a couple beers, that's cool. Just go on the Facebook page.
And then I mean, you got your big event coming up on the 18th.
Yes, that was my last thing I was going to plug. So there's two things I want to plug. On the 18th, we will be doing this show.
Of May.
The 18th of May, we'll be doing this show live at Schuylkill County Brewfest. So tickets are on sale right now. VIP is going very, very fast. So with VIP, you get in an hour early before everyone else gets there. You get special beers that are only served during the VIP hours, and you get a special glassware that you can only get. So the VIP ticket is definitely worth the admission.
Yes.
Then if you come regular, you still get really nice glassware, but some of the beers you won't be able to try that are made just for the exclusive VIP tickets. While you're there, find our tent. I'm not sure where we'll be set up yet, but we will have a tent set up. We'll have the
downtown
cameras.
Pottsville.
Yeah, somewhere in downtown Pottsville will be set up. Come find our tent. Come sit with us. Talk with us. Sit on the show. Tell us what you think of our show, if you like it or hate it, or tell me what beers you've been trying that you want us to try. So we will be there at Schuylkill County Brewfest. If you're not a drinker, they still have DD tickets, so they're $10 a piece, so you can still go and support Brewfest. See a lot of cool local stuff. They have really good food, a lot of good stuff going on at Schuylkill County Brewfest. So definitely see us there, and then like and subscribe to our fan page on Instagram. It's I'm not sure the actual link, but it's Interviews with Everyday People fan page. Just search that and like and subscribe to that. They're doing a lot of cool stuff, making us nice videos and stuff. So a lot of cool stuff.
Puffspromotions.com. Puffs.
Puffs Promotion. Puffs Promotion, or look up Schuylkill County Brewfest on Facebook.
I will be there at the Brewfest, and I will be tripping over myself. So come say what up.
Hey, say hi to us.
Come sit down with us. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up. We'll give it a little plug. I don't have my book, but we go live. Now we're doing a thing starting this month. Every Wednesday and Thursday night, we'll be live here 8:00. The shows may vary. So last week it was Tornado Tag Podcast, and then it was 10-8 round. So this week, Wednesday will be Things That Weren't Cool in High School, and Thursday will be Tornado Tag Podcast. So Wednesday shows will be a lot of pop culture, talk about movies, video games, comic books. You'll see Sarah, comic Ben, Nikolai, and Andy Header. And then Thursday you'll see our wrestling show, and that team has gotten a lot bigger, so I'm not sure who's going to make it or not, but the regulars will be myself, Dave Martin, Andy Header, Tyler Budwash, who runs Brewfest, and our new addition, Angel. So check us out the next week and the next coming week. So every Wednesday and Thursday we'll be live. Check out for interviews. Usually if we do an interview on a Monday, it'll be posted on Friday. We do 3 a month. So take a look for that. We have Mike Danger coming up on Monday, so that will come up the following Friday. Then the next week, we're doing Eddie Collins and Eddie Collins Senior.
Eddie Collins and Eddie Collins.
So it's double Eddie Collins. It's a father-son episode, which is really good.
He's an Ed.
Yeah, Ed and Eddie. If you're into music and you're into some
super interesting.
it's gonna be an awesome podcast.
Eddie's a big fan of the local comedy scene. He's out all the time. So.
Yeah. Good, really good dude. And his dad's part of a band called Three's Company, which is really Three's a Crowd, which is a really, really good band. If you have a chance to see them. And just now, it's yesterday, Eddie will actually be on tour with Crowbot playing bass for the next couple shows. So super, super proud that, our boys from Schuylkill County, Eddie will be playing now with Chris Bishop and Brandon Yeagley.
Doing that full run with the Damn Things.
Yeah, which is going to be cool. So check out the Damn Things. Check out Crowbot. A lot of cool stuff coming up this month. So stay tuned to us. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon.